All right. Hello. Welcome, everyone, to a very special edition of the HEX Happy Hour Show. We are here with Patrick HEX Line. How you doing?
Hello, everybody from my side. How is everybody doing out there? Just if you don't understood Cabana, because he's still on the road, busy hexicans like we all are. So hello and welcome everybody out there. Don't forget to like it and to share the screen. And how are you doing, BK?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic down here, man. I can't complain one bit. I'm not out on the open water like these fools over here, but I'm still enjoying myself thoroughly.
So, are you putting a hexagon on your wall each and every cent we reach?
I should.
Do you have 22 on the wall?
I should add more. I do have some more stacks of them. I was just doing it for sound, because I fit right in here. But I'll start adding to it. We'll get this wall filled. We'll get this wall filled. Once we're at $1, it's all gonna be hexes everywhere, as far as you can see.
Good idea, like one for every cent. So
one every 5 cents.
One every 5 cents. That'll work.
Goals.
Yeah.
No, he just will need to buy like a bigger villa, if he's
yeah. We're gonna need a bigger wall.
Need a bigger boat.
Yeah.
All right, now we're calming down a little bit, so it's getting easier to go here. Yeah, we're just coming into the marina, so it'll be like a little bit, but we figure we can do like a little show and tell.
I was about to say you should take the headphones over.
So Motley, did you hire at the Marines now? Are you at the Marines now? Or what? Are you at the Marines now?
Marina with boats.
Let me get that thing. I'll do a show and tell right now.
Yeah, give us the show and tell.
And now things are a little calm here. Hold on, let me see what I'm doing.
Knock us down.
All right, gents, as Motley guides us out here. So, some of you may recognize this guy, Freddie Quotes. Freddie Quotes.
Hey, what's
And that's the view. So where are we at? Hello, everybody. All right, that didn't work. All right, so the inlet is right here. That goes out to the Atlantic Ocean, and then we are coming into the marina, which is up here and on the right. So we got Captain up there. I can't get my directions right. There we go. And then we have this nice little area here, TV. We got the windows here looking out. Oh yeah. And then we have down here, we got some more bunks, bathroom, and captain's quarters. So cool stuff. And as a bonus, we caught a bunch of fish today. So I'm hoping we can show you those after we get into the marina. But yeah, that's our hex flex, if you will.
Oh yeah, show the fish, Cabana.
All right, hold on. Now I'm being told to show the fish. Hold on. Here we go.
So the tuna is Nardos, and then everyone else caught the mahi.
Yeah, they're fine. And the parade of boats is beginning. They're all coming in from being out at sea today. So, yeah, that's that. Here we go. Bring back the boys if I can find them on mobile, because this is fun.
Very lovely stuff. That tuna looked real nice.
Yeah, man. So
Nardo caught that sucker.
Nardo, man. To prepare them for dinner?
Nardo for the win. Nardo for the tuna. Oh yeah. So,
that's the right tool for the happy hour, huh?
Yeah, another rule of the afternoon was if you caught a fish, you had to do a beer bong after. So fortunately, pretty much everybody did a beer bong.
All right.
But we're going to join Freddie here as a end of trip celebration. You're like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Neighbors.
Get it, sir.
So we already have HEX
right,
meetups in international waters as well, or what?
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's where you have all the best monkey knife.
So, all right, yeah, we got a bunch of, eHEX and HEX on PulseChain, a couple items for you two to have a little discussion about.
Yes.
We're pulling in right now, and I'll definitely we'll get back on here in a little bit. Where'd you guys want to start?
Well, the first thing I'd like to start with is, I guess Patrick's right about the naming conventions, goddammit.
Looks like.
It looks like you are, sir. Oh, Motley's gone. Perfect timing. Our Cabana's gone. It looks like
we should be still live, no? We are still live.
Yeah,
right?
we're still live. They're just doing their thing. Yes, I still don't necessarily love it. You know,
why not? I love it.
Well, I know you do, and because I'm a stickler for the originals, and so just.
But there are two originals now.
Kind of. I mean, see, my big problem with the naming convention of being of the way that you had it framed before, because people.
Big K, somebody in chat says that you are not connected with your good microphone, and I guess it's correct.
Oh crap!
Yeah, just go at settings here in StreamYard and let's fix that everybody can hear you.
Hello. Does that sound people?
No.
Tell me. No.
Just try it next to the microphone.
Can you hear me now? Does that sound any better?
I won't. No, actually, no.
Crap. It's supposed to be up and on. Let me find out. Mic, focus right. It should be.
Somebody says mic pull. And I see 22 cents again.
22 cents.
22 cents. Yes. So, guys, let's.
I see. Sounds fine now. So
22 cents.
Yeah, 22 cents, sirs. Fantastic work. It's pretty incredible. I can't say, I didn't like the wordiness of HEX on the pulse chain. I didn't like that. That part I didn't like. So the fact that Richard came along and just said that is HEX and this other one is going to be eHEX, fine. That I like that. The thing is
but it's not really... it's not the case, because there is still HEX on the ETH chain, HEX on the Pulse chain. Then there is HEX from the ETH chain on the Pulse chain.
Yeah. But that's why I didn't like. That's why I didn't like HEX when you said HEX on the Pulse chain. This is what, from me, in my mind, I think HEX is HEX on Ethereum. And then if you move original HEX over to the Pulse chain, then you would call that HEX on the Pulse chain. But you're like, no, that's Pulse HEX. That's, so it was a confusion that I think Richard just being like, no, we're going to call the Pulse chain version HEX and the ETH version eHEX. Mm-hmm. I think that's great. I think that's that fixes the confusion for me, and I think that it'll be easier with because that's where it gets kind of tricky, isn't all that bridging shit once we're like eHEX is over and was it PEHEX or
now it's easy. Now it's really easy, because in your wallet you need to select the network you want to speak with at first. So let's say at first you're selecting the Ethereum mainnet, and then you just go in the connect with the bridge, and then you say how much of your HEX you want to bridge over. Good, you do that. You wait until the transaction is filled. You press one button and switch to the Pulse chain, and there you see the HEX you already have, and you see the bridged over eHEX. And then on the Pulse chain, you can go and swap your eHEX to HEX.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And it's less wordy because like we now are all going to be clear on the same terminology. And really the other thing is that if people want to know how early we all still really are, we're still working on naming conventions. Like in 10 years, people will know of one as, as this is whatever we decide now as being hex,
I mean, I would say both will be hex, yeah.
Both will be hex of a
when Richard says he would like to have hex expensive on both chains, I think that maybe the hex whales are listening to him.
What's interesting about that to me is that like it's going to be a really interesting like experiment in general with all of these coins. Like, does it really actually matter that there's now double the supply of all of them? Are they all going to, if there's any usability between them when they're paired together, will they what sort of parity is each different type of ERC PRC20 pair gonna reach? That's really interesting. Maybe the most fun part to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not that much into the other communities or other coins, so I own more fiat currencies than cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, I mean I've it's funny because I've like, even though I've fooled around with so many other coins along this crazy like the past year, whatever,
you are like years. How long are you in crypto actually?
Since I started mining Monero in 2016, so
okay, yeah.
I guess like 5 years now. But like, I mean, I've fucked around with everything, and recently, I mean, I tooled around with a lot of the other stupid stuff, but I can safely say that 99% of that is all like turned into hex, well before the run up before the sacrifice even happened. So like, I mean, it was fun to play around with, but because I feel like there's so much more to gain from focusing attention on the Pulse side of things. And there's going to be a whole new ecosystem and a whole new world of other projects that are going to require some level of scrutiny from everybody in the community to some degree or another. Like, I don't really feel like I have as much time or energy or effort to want to be dicking around on all these other projects that I don't really care about. I was mostly playing research games,
Yeah, and you know what? Like in my case, I don't want to spend that much time researching something else if I don't feel comfortable from the get-go to put there more than like 10K into. So I just stick with the basket I know perfectly, and you don't need to do much in the hex universe. You just need to press stake, and
you're good. Stake at the end.
And then use. So once you are done with your ladder, so first you accumulate your hex, then you use the whole timeline, and then you just collect. Make it dynamic by restaking everything for 5555 because you already have the ladder. And so at my stage right now, it's pretty easy, just like collecting, and then what I don't need, stake.
Staking back up. Mm-hmm. It's a super simple. And once you get it and you have built a step-by-step series of that, you've done it a couple times, then you're like, oh, this is and the confidence is built in the system as strongly as it has, then like, you feel great about it. I mean, 22 cents says so. It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, and I wouldn't care if hex went down 90% right now. I would be still okay. Okay.
I actually, it's funny you said that because I did the math. I was sitting there with my wife and I was like, if hex goes down, I don't know, 95% right now, it's all right.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's time to buy.
Yeah, and that's most of the OG's mindset and thinking. So I don't expect a huge drop. I would say right now you can try to place a limit order at 19.8 cents. Maybe we get like a dip down under 20. But I won't see like another time 17 cents. So we had a support line at 17. We two times.
Yeah,
and
we
now
tried
they're
it. We tried
good
to
go.
push into it a couple times, and like there just wasn't happening.
So actually, was there a live stream of Richard last night or not? Because I needed to sleep like when he's.
So no, apparently he said in the chat that he was having camera issues because I think he's somewhere else. Because like he said something about Estonia or something. He's somewhere
Estonia,
else.
yeah, what I saw,
so
yeah.
I think that him, I know that he's in a pretty solid, secure setup where he's at. So maybe his mobile camera setup wasn't working however he wanted. But he said he had some camera issues. So
okay. So there was no update of
no,
Richard.
there was nothing.
Okay, there was no update of Richard, and now today we still have new Altamice. That's you.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Oh my gosh, it's awesome. I mean, yeah, and I'm super confident. And like when we go into the other thing that we were kind of like, because there was another thing that I was like, hey, I don't know, let's put a pin in that and talk about it next time.
Yeah, why not? I like talking to you, Big K.
Yeah, man, I have a great time chatting with you, man. So like the other thing we were talking about was staking percentage and how it may or may not change based on after HEX forks. And like I just for possibility's sake, I wrote out like a few scenarios of like what could and couldn't happen, based on the numbers, So like,
yeah, there are a lot of wheels who can turn things around.
Yeah, there is, and and I'm gonna leave the origin address of HEX out of it, like no fanciful. The origin's gonna do this shit or that shit.
Okay. Just user behavior. Okay.
Just kind of just user behavior. There is another address that I will bring up that towards the end. The first thing is if users max stake. So like if right now we've got like 9.75 % staked in the total supply. And if users, which have like about 4.2 something %, so if they staked entirely, we'd have
it needs to be more. It needs to be more. The origin address staking power is only 20% of the whole staking system.
Yeah, so like the origin. Well, oh yeah, okay. When I talk about origin address, I'm talking about Gunther's numbers that show like
me too.
Okay. So
and it's origin address based on his numbers only
has about 20%. So like what I'm saying is the users have about 4% liquid of the supply.
Liquid. Okay. Yeah. But of which supply? Because we have
of the supply.
640. No, that it's less. No, isn't it less already after the second
my
fight?
Gunther numbers?
Because it should be less than 25 billion. I thought.
Yes, it is. It's a little bit under 25 billion. You're right. So like they have like around 4. It's I guess now like 4. It's less than 4.2 now. So my numbers of making it a nice round 14%.
Because it's because of the circulating supply. It's not from the total supply. It's from the percentage. It's from the circulating supply.
Yeah. So if the total circulating user supply stakes 100%, which we know won't happen, but if that was to happen, we could see staking rate go almost up to 14%. It's possible. That would be, and which would be, I mean, if that happened on one chain or the other, would be a change from like our 38% we're seeing now to like around 23% APY, which would be pretty dramatic. I mean, that wouldn't be like it would, 10-15% is a possible change that like I don't think it's going to happen because of user behavior.
Possible? I would say the maximum.
That's maximum. It's everybody tomorrow that has liquid coins stakes out for 5. Like everybody just maxes out and gets it, or at least 10 years to get the max T-shares that they can get. Then that's the possible swing on either chain that could happen if people did. Yeah. The second thing that you had mentioned was good accounting, and if good accounting and if and when it does happen on Pulse, because I imagine that somebody's gonna hit all the buttons for a penny or two.
I don't know. Like in the end of our stream, I went back because you told so. I asked Kyle, and Kyle was like, if you're like just because of the code, it would be the best to good account right away. But then somebody brought up, if you do that, then the user can come back like in years and then collect free money what he shouldn't got.
They shouldn't have gotten. Yeah. That's an interesting, man. That is a super interesting like play that like both possibilities are that you might have free money there or you might have nothing. Depending on which chain you're even on, because if it's only a penny, I mean, I feel like someone's gonna hit those buttons, even if I don't think it's the best idea.
Do it up high.
There they
Yeah, I did
are.
up high.
Hey,
Frame of the
hello, host. How are you doing?
Gentlemen.
What's up?
You're
So,
back on land.
It's tradition here that
Of course, Cabana's gonna run the shop.
you get your marlin and then you hop in. So this is what's about to happen. His first one.
How long did it take? Doing great. Are we live?
We're live, dude.
All right, now don't drop.
Yeah, so that's that.
Awesome.
Hopefully that was in frame. But yeah, it was cool.
Oh, that was great.
How you guys doing?
Oh,
Awesome. Have
fantastic.
you looked at the chart?
Yeah, we're killing it. We just hit 22.
22.3. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's
22.3.
awesome.
Yeah, we just
literally like all-time highs. That's awesome.
Yeah, literally.
Kool-Aid might be by as well. I'm not sure.
Oh, cool.
He wanted to say hey. But yeah, just wanted to pop back in. We're heading over to get fish cleaned up.
Should I push it, Cabana, guys?
No!
Yeah, let's go.
But yeah, we'll hop back on here in a little bit and maybe we can see the fish getting cleaned up. But just wanted to check in and
Sounds
maybe Kool-Aid might be by too. So we'll see. I'll check back with you guys.
All right.
Okay. We continue with our fight here.
There he is.
Hello.
Gentlemen, how are you, friends?
Very good, Kool-Aid. How are you doing?
What's up,
Doing
Kool-Aid?
great, man. Doing good, gents. Doing good. I mean, this price is great. The day is great. Can't argue with life.
No, sir. We're just locked in the middle of a reasonable discussion.
Yeah, I was listening in. Yeah, it's interesting when you actually like correlate the circulating supply, but it's actually just the liquid supply. And even if it's a top of 15%, to be able to buy out all those tokens, price shot would just be ridiculous.
Oh yeah. Like if that did happen, I mean, it would be the price would go up silly, and we would all be very happy. There's nothing wrong with that happening. I just highly doubt that that'll happen. I mean, but I like to play both sides of it, of like what max that could happen. And then with the good accounting that we were talking about, if all the Pulse side coins are good accounted that are out there, I believe it's like under 600 million. So it's not actually even.
It's not that much. Yeah,
tenth
I
of a
agree on that.
percent, which would be like maybe a 0.3% APY change. You know,
Mhm.
so it won't be
Right.
that big of a deal if that does happen.
Well, the thing you have to also consider is, let's just say we have that insane rocket ship up and then like maxed out guaranteed 15% or 23% APY. You know, life insurance only needs 3% to be profitable, right? And so at that point, it shows its form and function in the industrial space, and then it'll just keep getting pushed higher and higher as more of the commercial adoption goes into the legacy markets of finance, which need that yield.
Yeah, you can't. You definitely can't. You can't hide this forever. You know, like
No.
you just cannot hide these returns to the world forever, as much as people will try to. Sensei Dozy has a question here. What does good accounting mean and do? I did actually a big talk on this once. Good accounting is, just for quickly to brief those who probably don't know, instead of ending your stake, you or someone else besides your wallet address can good account your stake and pull your shares out of the staking pool so as to not continue to penalize the user who hasn't pulled their coins out. I did a whole talk once.
But you can only do this once your stake is matured.
Once your stake is matured, yes,
It's
stake
at
must
the-
mature, and then they can pull your stake out for you. Let's say I did a talk, I think it was on Happy Hour, maybe it was on Discourse, where I was like, can everybody come up with all the reasons for why in life, you might want a good account? Be it Richard always gives the one of prison, but I mean, there's the fact of taxes. If you don't want to take a tax liability this year, possibly by owning something.
It depends as well on because
your jurisdiction and all the rest of that too.
Yeah.
It's
because some
consult an
jurisdictions
attorney.
still say no. When you run the good accounting function, this is like the time you need to. It's a taxable event. So.
But the reason that's good accounting is interesting is because if you go on like apphex.win or one of those another hex.win, you can runs the good accounting function for other people's wallets. So like if somebody anonymously runs a good accounting function for your wallet and you didn't do it, then like you could argue to any sort of tax person out there, hey, I didn't actually do that. I had nothing to do with that. I didn't want that to even happen. I mean, a bunch of people.
Same thing as like streetlight cameras that someone else is driving your car and you get a ticket for it. Like, I wasn't driving the car.
Yeah, you can fight that, and that's reasonable. So I mean, like that's like, but there's a whole bunch of other. I wish I'm not going to remember them all off the top of my head, but we came up with like 8 or 10 good reasons in life that like good accounting might be a reason. But like, it's not a reason to save any money on gas fees. Don't ever think that. You'll basically pay almost double the gas fee to good account, and then to have to end your stake later. That's not.
Well, everyone has to remember anytime. You're right. Anytime that you talk to the Ethereum blockchain, whatever, failed transaction or not, you are paying gas. Like anytime that you turn your car over, you are paying gas.
Yeah, I saw somebody on the Twitters today that was like, I just spent $65 to not unstake my coins. If anyone knows where the ETH goes, that's where the fucking goes. Miners, it's bullshit. Where did ETH go? They're taking it from us. Somebody else is talking about an $800 unstake from a day 5 stake earlier today. That's just. I mean, prices were high today, but
I saw something that was almost like $8,000 or some shit like that. It was nuts.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, there's some silly. I mean, yeah, I can't remember. Somebody else in the crypto Twitter was bitching. They're like, I'm trying to buy an NFT for 1 ETH, and it costs almost an ETH to buy it. You know, you're like, I have to tell you.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, when the other boys get on, I've got a fun little announcement to make.
Oh boy. Big announcements from Big K.
Yes, big announcements from Big K. I mean, it'll just be something fun that I'm looking forward to doing here with a little HEX Pulse get together of sorts. I may have bought something, and it may have
an island.
And it might have some contingencies along with this thing that I bought. So I mean, let the good folks out there guess. That will be.
I will get my interesting thing to show by tomorrow. I hoped so much that I will get it today, but it's on the way. It's on FedEx already, so it should come tomorrow by midday. And then next week or Sunday might be a stream of us as well. I have also something to show.
Is that when you get the vroom vrooms? Or I know I was listening to you guys on Freedom TV that all of that's just about to start here soon, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we are already back here in Vegas.
This first show is on the 4th that you're doing, right?
The first one is actually on the 3rd because we are at the campus here, and that's why we are going on Friday instead of Saturday.
Oh, nice.
Well, I'll see you guys when you come to LA on the 11th, I think. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah, I'll come see you guys.
Yeah, and in between that, we are in San Diego. We got like a nice location there, a whole vineyard from
I saw those pictures.
Yeah,
that looks awesome. It looks like it'll be a great time.
Where are you right now, BK?
Oh, I'm back in Puerto Rico, enjoying the warm weather and relaxing breezes. We're actually been working on our place, getting some contract work done. So it's been a lot of, it's been a lovely little, Friday. Yeah. We went and looked at some tile, and looked at some lighting fixtures. Very exciting day.
Because we might have to reschedule a bit, because there is still an issue with Canada, because now like the Canadian government were like really strict, and the American government wants to be like the best government in the world, and now they also told like to the Canadians, if you are that strict, then your guys are also having a hard time to come back into. So I still need to talk with the team and everything, but might be that like the meetups in Canada we can still do, but so Abid and myself might do it like with an online workshop version. And in about like end of November, we would still need to leave the country because of our tourist visa. And you don't have any problems to go to Puerto Rico and back, no?
No, not at all. Not at
Yeah,
all.
no,
Super
no
easy. In fact,
restrictions, no.
no restrictions. It's just like flying to another state. The only thing you have to do is to make sure you have a test before you come.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
not a problem, you know.
Yeah.
But Puerto Rico is a different country, right? So I can.
It's kind of it's a commonwealth. So it's not actually it's still part of the U.S. So what I was gonna say is what is really easy to do once you're in Puerto Rico, because like it's like the biggest airport in all the Caribbean. So like we could go to, I don't know, any of the other islands, Antigua or the British Virgin Islands, or I guess they're pretty locked up too. But Antigua or St. Kitts or St. Croix or any of those other spots, and you can dip out of the country for a while and go somewhere fun. And I mean, I would gladly come along for something like that. You know, that's
Yeah, that's why I brought it up, because we were already like thinking about Puerto Rico or something like that. But we need to leave the US, you know, to get the stamp that we are out, and then we can and then please border control give us another 90-day tourist visa stamp, because when we arrived in Chicago they already pulled us out because, you know, Austrian and German passport, they thought we were coming from the Schengen area, but we weren't in Europe, we were in Asia, and first we needed to make that clear, and good to go again.
Yeah, awesome. Well, perfect. Well, hopefully that'll work out. Like I said, I'll be back in, because I'll be in the States for a little bit during y'all's trip. I'm gonna probably meet up with y'all a couple of spots along the way, and then end of November is when I was planning on being back in this area as well. So that would work. That'd work great.
Cool. Yeah, we will have some private chats about that.
Yeah.
Cool. So back to the two
contracts. Back to where we were. Yes.
Yeah.
So
my take on that is that they won't run like exactly the same, but my take is that they won't differ a lot. Yeah. So I don't think that, for example, on the ETH chain we get only 8% of staking participation, and on the PulseChain we get 13 or something like that. So I don't think will be that.
There's a couple things that can affect it. I mean, gas fees on the ETH chain would, if everybody's staking and getting kick-ass rewards and the price is doing better and everything just is like roses on the Pulse side, then you might see less people staking over time. You might see a slow divergence, you know.
Yeah, but what I think is like people will still make long stakes maybe on the ETH chain, but on the Pulse chain there will be the short-term staking.
Yeah, that's true. So like if you might, whoa, that's big. That's yeah. So you might have some slight divergence, but there's a couple of ways that, you know. So my third point that there's a couple of ways that it could diverge, and that's my fourth point. But my third point really was that I wanted to talk about was that like there is, like when people, what we were talking about a little bit ago, I should have brought it up then, was like the fears of a 90% run on, crash, that we were like, I'm not really worried about that. Like if there was some kind of even somewhat of a run on to eHEX or pHEX, like let's say one side decides they want to unstake even a bunch of coins, like unstake, potentially 1%, even 10% of all the liquid coins unstaked, because the fact that because of the average weighted length of them, most of them would get they would get less than a third of their coins.
I don't understand the game theory that people are thinking when they make these kind of assessments.
It would be so silly, because even if that was 1% of the total supply, that would be 10% of the staked coins unstaked and tried to sell, because they would get nuked so hard that they would only actually get like 1 billion coins instead of like 6 billion coins.
And it would go back to the OA and the staker class anyways. But like what people have to understand is this investment vehicle is a creature to its own accord. But just like comparing a boat and a plane, they do two different things, but they still move you in a tertiary direction. You don't want to trade in your plane when you want to use a boat and fish. You don't want to use your plane or vicariously the other way. So they're just going to have two different ideals. Like one's like an S&P, one's a penny stock or whatever you want to consider it. But they're both investment vehicles that do two different things.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Like you said, Patrick, I started trying to come up with scenarios in which maybe like big whales would stake on one and small people would stake on the other, whatever. But like you're right, more or less, people will just stake longer on the Ethereum side to counteract for the fees. That's what people have been doing
But
so far.
there is one thing what worries me about that, because I don't trust the ETH chain anymore, because they raise the S load so often and so much that I cannot trust them anymore for.
You'd hope that you'd hope that data reading and data storage would be a little cheaper in, I don't know, 10, 15 years from now, but maybe not. Maybe it's 1,000x the price or something insane like that. So yeah, I'm not really worried about a run on either coin, though. I don't think that's like, even if there was some sort of mass exodus, usually when a lot of people do one thing, it's still not that much of the percentage overall. Like, I mean, every time we have one of these events, you do see unstakes going up and people doing things, but like overall, it really doesn't, it's not like what changes the dynamic of the system at all, really.
Yeah, but the things that we see are usually not from the trained staker class core community, people that have learned and have been trained to do better and understand the consequences for their actions. Usually that's day traders, new people, and people who don't want to put the time to watch the videos to gain the knowledge of how all this works. So even if your ETH stake started to bleed out, it would still go to the high tier staker class. Ideally, anyone when they
what? Just a moment here, because when your HEX stakes are bleeding out, you don't get any penalties from that before somebody runs a function on each and every.
You don't get anything else. You just bleed out everybody else, I think.
If you bleed out, that goes. That goes to all the other stakers, right?
Only if somebody runs a function in the code.
Only at the end. Only when you either end your stake or the good accounting
at the end.
happens.
Only when the user or somebody comes and runs a function.
That's true. They don't like, just because somebody's bleeding out at the same time you're staking. If you end your stake before they hit, they're totally bled out.
Of course. But I'm just saying, as people can't afford their unstake fees, like basically in a nutshell, every time that you unstake your eHEX, you should add a huge wad to your ETH gas pool. So that way in the future, if it costs $10,000,
it's so funny because
you get $1 million. Okay, here you go. Take my money.
There's some truth in that. Like, I mean, I remember somebody saying pretty early on that, keeping a whole Ethereum in your wallet just for unstaking might not be a terrible idea, And now here we go. We're seeing that, like, I mean, we're at like, some people are paying a quarter of an ETH or so,
Mm-hmm. So yep. I mean, I used to always say 0.1. And then now it's gotten ridiculous. And now I say bare minimum 1/8. And then each time that you get, your yearly ladder or quarterly ladder, as a good, laddered hexagon would do, you add another ETH to that pool, right? It's the same thing that you would do when you scrape your.
It's crazy, man. But
it's future.
I mean, you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. Holy crap. 228 right now, man. That's a big ass candle we just got.
That's a big one.
It's already there since few minutes.
Love it.
I mean, I would not recommend that, because I'm recommending to not stake 100% long term. So to have a few percent what you stake short term as well. Of course, on the ETH chain, just keep it liquid maybe, because your volume is less and because of the fees. But I always say I want to have some kind of flexibility in my portfolio, and that's true. When I need more ease, for the end stake, I still have a bit of ease, and if it's like for the end stake, it might be a bunch, but then I can just take at first some of my liquid HEX into ease at that time for the end stake fees, and then I have more HEX already. And for the next end stake, I can do the same again.
This is all definitely stuff that, like, I will say that there will be a divergence somewhat over time in these chains if Pulse really takes off and in the HEX and eHEX. I think because just this shit, like, we are willing to do the nitty gritty, and a lot of people that we've onboarded and taught how to do this but like the general public, when we onboard another 200, 300, 400,000 people, like, you're gonna be like, oh, hey, make sure to check your gas fees first, and then go to this website to make sure that it's right. You've got enough ETH, and then you might have to buy more. But then the swap fees might be too much. Like, all that shit is not gonna help. Like definitely hinders onboarding. It doesn't help.
It does, but it's kind of like the craziest thing in the world. Like when you listen to Whales, you listen to the whole 2-hour video because you don't want the cliff notes. You want the full narrative. And if people want to learn to be wealthy, they need to take the time and not just have this Instagram.
That's true. I mean,
like if I could,
you get out what you put in. That is for sure. That is rightfully said. I mean, but I do think that like to reach the masses, some level of simplicity will be great with.
Well, and that's where, I think Pulse is going to like shine on that. And like, Hexline was saying, your ETH bag, instead of rolling small stakes, that's where you keep your liquid fuck you money. And then on your Pulse chain, that's where you roll your smaller stakes to have, the fuck you money is rolling to generate yield faster, but you have that kind of like that savings account, right?
You can make 1% per month. Where you can make 1% per month.
Where can you do that? That's crazy. So that brings me to the only crazy possibility of thought that I brought into this when I started doing like all these scenarios is there is one address that has a huge amount of HEX that isn't necessarily as beholden to the origin address scrutiny, and that's the SAC address. Like the sacrifice address has 17% of the supply, and 17, and they could, and like them staking on either chain would dramatically change the staking percentage to like it would bring it down to like 13%.
Sure, but I mean, like,
do I think that that'll happen? No, but I still, for the sake of
devil's advocate,
the sake of completeness, that like if there was a reason to to force or push people from one direction to another, pressure could be applied in the tune of about 25% of your staking.
You know what my take is? I guess the sacrifice address after the fork will be the one who provides the liquidity on the bridge.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. That would be great.
And then you have like huge liquidity there, and then
liquidity, and not just huge liquidity in HEX, but you could have huge liquidity in whatever of these tokens that you want to bridge over. There's a big pile of them in there.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of them. I guess a lot of the ones that weren't stables though got sold off. A lot of them that weren't stables were.
Yeah, but it's not about the sacrifice address, but for each and every community, there is like whales in each and every community, and usually those whales are in a liquidity pool on PancakeSwap or on Uniswap or whatever swap, and they just would need to pull once their liquidity on this side, bridge it over, and get their free copy, and put in double the liquidity,
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I love that feature of things. I mean, like that's what's made, like the liquidity mining thing is what's made in my mind a lot of this DeFi craze, like that everyone in regular and the rest of crypto has like hit, like the yield farming thing has been the thing pre NFT. That is everyone's talked about,
It's the crypto kitties in 2020, but I mean, if they want to talk about yield farming, that's what we do. It's just zero risk, right?
It's way less risk when you just get the free coins anyways. You get to see which ones. It's great. It's great. I mean, like, because anybody who's yield farmed this long learns about impairment loss and learns about, there's very few situations in liquidity mining where you're actually running no risk. I mean, there's almost none of them.
And that this is like the biggest disagreement I have with Abit, because he's like, everybody can put a little liquidity and everything is decentralized and so on, and I'm like, no, no. It's just too much impermanent.
It's just like, I don't think that it's going to be, unless you're a whale and you think that it's like better to offer liquidity than it is to, in the HEX at least, or whatever your project is, than to stake or to do whatever else to ruin the incentives for everyone else to play. Then other than that, it's a worse deal. It's just stake your HEX. It could be better.
Yeah, I mean, right now you can think about doing just a short-term stake and think about your long-term staking ladder if you're new on the PulseChain, because as I said, I would rather do my long-term staking ladder on the PulseChain than on the eTheChain.
Yeah, I mean all that's the fun stuff that like we could do on HEX or early on with eTheChain when there was only a penny to stake. As I said, I remember when before there was a calendar on there, you would have to guess at your days and calculate how many days.
They made a whole Excel sheet with like
yeah, and then you'd get one wrong, and I'd be off by a day, and I could unstake it and then restake it to the right day when I look at that doesn't look right, you know.
Yeah, and you only paid like 3 pennies. I know.
3 cents. yeah. All that will be a reality again on PulseChain. People can make fancy staking ladders.
Yes.
Do all that cool stuff. I'm super excited for that. That's
yeah.
I mean, that's some of what made HEX fun. Was like I remember early on everyone showing a picture of their like HEX staking ladder from one at HEX Info or wherever, and that was cool. That was fun. I mean,
I don't remember yours, man.
Yeah, you know, it's in there somewhere. But I appreciate everybody else sharing theirs. Thank you to all the community members who were.
Actually, like Ryan Lopez ladder inspired me to do mine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember seeing what was Brennan's like his was like so like it was so like artistically done. He had like this very uniquely artistically done staking ladder, and I'm impressed by it. And like I don't know, in hindsight, you know, the artistry of it. Now I gotta unstake these. Like I did my stuff, some of my stuff monthly, and I stopped doing that after I did it.
Well, I mean, because for a hodl dog with the 0.1 ETH, I mean, this the fees for
I mean, like anybody who's done daily or weekly, or there's a few people like that, and you know, every couple days or whatever, and you're like, man, that has gotta be painful.
Yeah,
didn't expect that one to happen.
Yeah, actually, sorry to say that, but the ETH fees did more X than the HEX price.
That's
sad, or isn't it?
That's very sad. That's very sad. That's incredible. If you could have just put a long on ETH fees,
yeah, it's like I long ETH fees, you know, and even like this. I'm really not satisfied with the eTheChain, even now after this London fork, because what is happening now, it's like no miners are getting rewards right now. Everything nearly gets burned. And yeah, will that really help the price, or will it like
the miners still get rewarded? It's not actually deflationary yet, you know. It's so like they're burning.
No, actually, when I look at the transaction hashes, it's like between 90 and 100% of each and every transaction. It's
of
like
the fees
burned.
Right?
Yeah.
Fees, but they still get the block reward. They still get the block reward, and the block reward is like 2 ETH per block. So the miners get 2 ETH per block. So like it the way it is right now, they're still getting almost a full ETH per block more than what is being burned. So it's still inflationary, but not much. Like I mean, like I remember mining, and when they went from 3 ETH to 2, I was like, this is and right about that same time, like 4 gigabyte cards became obsolete because the DAG got so big that you couldn't run any 4 gigabyte cards anymore. And like once that all happened, it was less like I was like, this sucks. Half my farm can't mine ETH, and you get a third less than you were getting before. This is like
now you're getting 50% less than before, right? According to the number you just presented.
Approximately,
I don't know like where this leads to. So
I mean, they're trying to cut out the miners entirely, and I think that like that's where it leads to, is that like they'd like to force people to be disincentivized to mine, and you know, so that when ETH 2.0 is something that's put on, there's not a strong coalition at that point in time to come at them. I mean, they've done a lot of things like that. Like I know that like the Ice Age, I don't know if you've read about or know about that is, but like ETH, like the developers years ago created this like creeping Ice Age thing on the blockchain to make it so they called it that, as if eventually miner like the worth and value of it to split the ETH chain. Whenever somebody talks like we're going to fork the chain and like just like Ethereum Classic did, well, you can't really do that in the same without removing that Ice Age features, because like you can't just mine you can't do another proof of work switch and mine things properly on Ethereum because of the way the coding is set up specifically to make it difficult for people to do that on their own if it wasn't like a consortium of developers. Because there has been some talk of changing the proof of work to Prog POW, which is an interesting, that's a whole nother talk for some other time.
Right now it's $120 to do a Uniswap swap.
That's insane. I mean, and that makes it so that like now you only have, if you have all the USDC or HEX in the world, now you can't unstake, you can't swap to get more ETH to stake. You got to go buy some, which like then that sucks. That's just
you know why that sucks, especially for me right now, because in 2 hours I would be able to unstake a 630-day stake.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, you got 2 weeks. We got 2 weeks.
Yes, thank you.
Hitting the refresh on the
right now page. I'm hitting a refresh on the fees, and now it's $145 to get into the market and to do a swap.
Fantastic.
Is it really? Jesus.
Yeah, 220 Gwei right now.
It was 100 like an hour ago.
Yeah, I saw 86 Gwei and 70 Gwei during this 50-minute live stream. So you are looking for volatility? Just look at the ETH fees. Yay!
I was gonna say that's the other thing that's been crazy is that like I've seen the fees, like the Gwei cost go from like that, like 50 to 150 to 300, all within like minutes. It's very difficult to predict and like. I mean, there's a few times in the day, sure, that might be all right, but you're still paying. You're still paying a lot.
Yep.
So here's the question: what do you think? Which NFT things do you think are going to really find value on Pulse? Like, OpenSea is like the major rascal on gas fees if you go to Gas Tracker right now.
Yeah. So hopefully not the stupid rocks. That's just painful.
I mean, it's not my cup of tea. I think NFTs in a gamification sense have a lot in the future.
Well, that's the stuff that I like, because like I am a gamer at heart, even though I haven't played any games in a while.
I just make games. I don't have time to play.
Yeah, exactly. But like, but I think that the fun, like I would play that. I mean, Hex Toys dropped a little tweet teaser, something about, hey, maybe my NFT characters would be really cool if they're in a game somewhere sometime, that would. So like, I like all that. I like that. I would play whatever the hell that is. I mean,
but the future of technology and money is going to be augmented reality, virtual reality, right?
Well, and so the NFTs that have value in that space, that do something, there's like an NFT on that when you buy land on one of these metaverse games, that holding that particular NFT gives you more liquidity mining bonus because you're holding X amount of pieces of land or whatever. Like that is there's forced utility, but there's still some utility there. I mean, it's game mechanics, that are there. And so like I could see that stuff,
well, think about like value. If Second Life was so long ago, but it didn't hit its stride and what it could do till the technology could catch up to it, right? So if you could exist in Second Life the same way as you could do a Ready Player One or something of that nature, then it makes perfect sense on the fungibility and usability of tokens value and how your experience is wrapped. But like computer generated art that's then sold, it's what it's being used for isn't the correct solution for it, right?
No, not. I mean,
are you guys in the NFT game or what? Because
not at all. Not at all.
And then my take on NFTs is like, if you are the creator and you find buyers for that, go for it. If you are on the selling side of your NFTs, go for it. But I won't buy JPEGs for money.
And the thing is that the future utility isn't going to be more than JPEGs. It's just right now we're at the fax machine maximalist stage of NFTs. They're true.
Yeah, but still also in the future, I would say the companies who are figuring it out, and who are giving the NFTs to a certain market, who find their niche market where they can make a product out of their NFT game or something like that. So always it's like, if you're on the selling side, you can try and go for it, but I still won't buy NFTs. So maybe like as a workplace of something, but it's pure speculation again,
Oh, it's entirely insanely pure speculation.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say
back were a penny. I mean, shout out dollar cost crypto. I may have purchased some shit just for the sake of it, and like, I bought a bunch of penny ass NFTs when fees were a penny, and like then when fees shot up like crazy, I was selling orange fedoras for fucking $100 a piece. Like I never owned a hat in my life worth $100, and here I am selling fake ass ones on the internet. That shit's unreasonable, you know. I don't think that. I mean,
well, think about.
But I experienced that same shit in game. The reason why I do know that there's some place for it to exist is because I played Diablo back in the day. I played World of Warcraft. There was a whole economy built into that was still very centralized, and you know there's people were paying lots of money for items, you know, and like back then they did something. Now you play League of Legends and shit, and they pay lots of money for skins. They don't even do anything. They just make you look.
Well, that's the whole wax system. They're made by the skin manufacturers. And fun thought, my first art director is the current art director for Diablo 4. But yeah, so like let's just say, for example, you buy a Louis Vuitton high dollar outfit or thing. It comes with a scannable QR code, which is its NFT to a particular virtual space. Let's say you walk into a club in 30 years and that virtual space also has enhancement goggles that allow you to see different things. Well, your avatar in the club or wherever you're experiencing these things, based on the collectibles and or utilities that it's purchased, that's verifiable, then those wearables, those Louis or the Rolexes will show up on your in-game or in-person in-game experience. But
there's, again, because I also like music festivals, I find that like interacting, and like the whole augmented reality idea is interesting and fun, you know. So if you're taking it from like an interesting, fun, lighthearted fucking manner, I'm fine with that, you know. I don't think that there's an interesting, fun, lighthearted manner in spending like millions of dollars on any of this shit, or even thousands of dollars on any of this shit. But like I do think that there like that there's fun that can be fun, and like so for that instance, like I hope that there's fun stuff on Pulse. I'd love to see fun games being built that might have cool things in them for us to toy around with. I mean, I'm not saying that that's going to save the world or anything like that, you know, but not everything has to. I mean, I do think that more stuff should be focused on that, sure. But I mean, like, we want everybody's eyeballs on Pulse in whatever way we can. And so if people want to gamify shit and make, you know, metaversey fun, weird stuff, cool. I mean,
and that's
it'd be also nice to transfer it around for a penny or two. I mean, that's the thing, is that like, again, if all this stuff is super cheap, and like I said, I when I bought a bunch of NFTs early on, like when HEX came out, I bought a few NFTs, you know, and when I was doing that, like they was all pennies. I spent like, I think maybe a total of $200.
Did you make better with them than with HEX?
Absolutely not. I mean, like absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, that $200 probably would have been better served, you know, with HEX. But I mean, for the research and experience that I did with that, you know, like that was fine. You know, that was a fine, like this, like if that was the only $200 you have, then by all means put it into HEX. But like, it was a fun research thing, and yeah, sure, I made a bunch more back on it. I feel bad for the fool that bought my orange fedoras, but. You know, God love them. It's part of the game, I guess. I don't know what this.
And yes, I mean, I totally agree for attracting the gaming industry on the PulseChain, you know, and to get them to build on it and to make some things, because you know, if they are producing an awesome game and have those skins, what you have in each and every game right now is like. You have them if you want them or not, you know. So if they want to make an NFT version out of that and then sell it to their gamers, so it's a legit market. But again, you know, they are to get the money, you know, the creator of the NFTs, and that's why I stick with my statement there. I would not buy NFTs, but if you are having an idea to fit a market, then go ahead, create your NFTs and try to sell them, you know. So.
Well, that kind of that market push is what's going to make Pulse popular, and then eventually all eyes will fall back to Hex when you're on Pulse. Like once you're there, you're going to realize that, oh, I can play these fun games. That's cool. Well, I can also invest and earn yield. Oh, awesome, even better. And then I'm going to do both. All right, great. I think looking at the future of bands and music with that kind of non-fungible things. So you buy an album, you get an experience that you can play and queue up. There's a lot of interesting future that I can see that will make the merit. What we want is just the people building on PulseChain. Whatever it is, you want to program your damn clock like Richard talks about. Yeah, program a clock to wake you up on a blockchain. Sure, do that. Do all of that. The more that we have development, the better.
Yep, that's what I say too. I mean, like ideally, all the useful stuff, you know, is cool and does well, and all the not useful stuff, you know, people realize that and they filter over to something like, I don't know, Hex or something. That'd be great.
Cool. So Motley also said he will be back in a few minutes in the chat.
Okay.
There was another chat question in the chat. Chat question. Yeah. Like where I am from, and I mean it was like where the Hex Lion is from. So the Hex Lion is born out of the Hex code, and I myself, I'm from Austria.
Nice.
Have you been there? Like in which European countries have you been, BK?
I have been to England, France, Amsterdam, Prague, Italy. It's the one in between there.
So you skipped the German-speaking part of Europe.
I did skip. I was just like jumped right over it. I mean, we're planning on doing there's I can't remember what it was. Why I'm going to end up in Germany next year, but I'm there. We'll speak more on this on After Hours, but yes, I do plan on making that part of a.
Cool. I mean, I will only go back to Europe when they are out of restrictions.
Oh well, that
might take a while. I know.
It might be a while.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I mean, here in the West, it's way better. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable here in Nevada.
We're a little looser, a little easier,
a little freer. A
little freer on things. Yeah, let a little bit more go. Yeah, I could see that.
But you know, I will definitely go back to Europe and Austria, visit family and all this stuff. But I really told everybody it's not my country when they have like all these senseless restrictions. Because, you know, we have a really, really, really good health system in Austria. So it's not like people are dying on the street or something like that. So definitely not.
Yeah. So the overabundance of restrictions is a little much. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean...
So, for example, I won't live in New Zealand or Australia right now. So
no, I mean now Puerto Rico we're like middle of it, like the safer but still reasonable. I mean, like there's restrictions. Like I said, you got to have tests and everything to get in here. But besides that, like and people are still cautious, but. I understand it on an island when there's like way more people here than if like we had any sort of outbreak of anything, it would be pretty shitty. You know, like there's just more people here than hospitals. My doctors are fantastic. Everybody I've seen is, whatever. They're all great, but like.
And I don't care if people are like cautious, and take precautions. I care like about the forced ones.
Yeah, I feel that.
But I feel that. Change back to Hex, I would say.
Yes. Anyways, back to that before something else happens here. Where were we? Oh, we were talking about NFTs on the PulseChain. That's a possibility.
When do you think that the PulseChain total supply will be calculated out?
Total supply was. I remember someone telling me that he was thinking that remembering like doing the math and being like, oh, we might get extra because remember how back when Richard's like, if we don't hit our goal, then we'll give everybody extra to hit our.
And then like on the first day we hit our goal.
Yeah. That was awesome. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be. I guess you could kind of do the math on it based on the numbers if you take the total dollars input, which I mean, I guess we don't.
Yeah,
have
the total sacrifice points, put it in and so on, and then you take the average of the volume bonus. And people already did that, but I'm waiting for the devs to
the actual
give us
numbers.
the final number.
So do you think it's gonna be like 2 trillion, 3 trillion? What do you think our number's gonna come?
No, like between 120 and 160 trillion, I would say. T-pools.
120 and 160 trillion dollars or million coins. Wow, that is.
All right, guys. I got another meeting I got to hop into. All the love,
It's been
gentlemen.
fun, Kool-Aid. Thank you for stopping on through.
Yeah, thanks for coming by, man.
Cheers, brother. Have a good one.
Cheers, guys. And then I will see you guys in LA in a couple days. Well, a couple weeks, whatever it is.
Awesome. See you there.
Right. Take care, guys.
Looking forward to that.
All right. Back to the showdown.
Oh, look.
It's
Cabana.
Cabana.
We saw the camera.
Okay, he's just no camera Cabana. Oh, it's almost here.
And he's gone. So what do you think? Like, what will be the total supply?
Yeah, I mean, 100 plus trillion coins. Sounds pretty awesome. Like, sure, let's do it, man. Let's have 100.
Because we had before the sacrifice phase, there was like for the game theory, you can give out a cryptocurrency in 2 ways. The first way would be that you determine the total supply, and then you have like the game theory where everybody can apply for this fixed total supply, or like we did it. We just make mathematical functions and formulas, and then each and everybody can apply, and we just came to a total supply number. And now it's like, how much will it be?
Yeah. And
it's hard to calculate it because Richard were accepting like a lot of different blockchains, a lot of different coins, and so
you can make a rough estimate on that stuff.
Right now.
If we know the Bitcoin one, if we can get a good estimate on the Bitcoin one, a lot of the other stuff was pretty minimal overall. I mean, you could probably take a pretty solid estimate at that, under, like, obviously well under 100, like maybe even $50 million probably came in from other blockchains. I mean,
of course, but still, you need to calculate them in a correct way.
Yeah. I mean, to get an exact number, you're darn right. So like to make a guess on a number on that, I mean, like I'd say more than, like, from the fact that we've had as many $1 billion that put into it. Give me 163 trillion coins. That sounds about right.
That sounds about right. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say over 150 trillion sounds definitely like totally right. I mean, we've got like $17 billion or something total or something like that. How much was the total amount?
It's also hard to say, because of the price fluctuations we got as well. So
that's true.
If you look like 3 days after the last sacrifice date, and it was like already 20% more.
That's
up
actually
the HEX in the. I mean, if you look up the sacrifice address right now, I would guess the HEX are still in there, so it will be like 30 billion.
Yeah, and that's why it's super hard to calculate. Is that like every you can't just look at the amount that's in there now. It's by when it came in, what the volume multiplier got. There's some work to be done, and like to leave us on waiting with bated breath, Richard's just like, yeah, that's not actually that important right now. We'll get to that later. So you gave the money. It's all good. It's like just forget about that part. Like. Which fine. I already forgot.
How's it going, gentlemen?
Oh, it's good to see you back.
Yeah.
Good to see you back.
Good to be here. Just want to at least hop on a little bit and say hello again. How was the discussion?
Oh, it was
Yeah,
great.
we had a great fight. You missed it. You need to rewatch
Yeah.
it.
it was
Well, I will definitely
knockdown,
watch it. We
drag
got
out.
fights. We got people getting pushed into the bay. It's great. So,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
we bring everything to the viewers on this show.
So I can give. I guess
Motley
now
might
that
be
you.
out here in
now
a
that-
second. But
Oh, cool. Well, once
Cool.
Molly gets
And
on,
I
I'll
see,
give
like,
you my.
you,
I was gonna announce to everybody my next idea for my next plan for a Hexagon meetup here. It's gonna be, yeah. It's gonna be not unannounced date yet. So to bring us back to our Hexagon, our previous discussion about NFTs that we were just having, I purchased an NFT. This particular NFT doesn't matter. Couldn't care about it. It's not, who cares. The point of this NFT that I purchased is that the holder of this said NFT gets to throw out the first pitch at a Cubs game next year in Chicago. So Big Kurkowski is going to take a little Hexagon meet. The Cubs suck, by the way, everybody. I mean, they're a fantastic team. Love this game. You know, great. No. But they are not a well-played team right now. So getting a whole bunch of bleacher seats will be very easy for us to do. So I plan on having some, Hexagons out in the bleachers, enjoying themselves in the warm sun on a nice sunny Wrigley day. And I'll throw out the first pitch. Maybe have some proper apparel on. Hopefully, that'll get onto the big screens and the audiences around the way, and then I'll join everybody in the stands for a fun baseball game where we can probably buy out, like I said, as much of the bleachers as we can to rock as much hex and pulse flags as we want out in the audience of the game. So look
cool.
fun. Yeah, it should be fun. It'll probably be next summer sometime. I mean, I don't know when baseball doesn't start until March or April or something like that. So April is spring training, so it won't be till May and onward. So look for a fun Hex event the next summer in Chicago. I'm very excited about that.
so what you're trying to say is the Cubs are not currently listening to your shirt.
No, they are definitely not. This shirt was put together when Madden was still the coach, and we won a World Series. That was when they did this. And they did a great job at it. They haven't been paying attention to that lately. And we're just in a rebuilding phase. We're classic rebuilt. We just offed all the players that I really like, so it's perfect time for me to be able to get to meet the team and throw
So,
out the first pitch.
Big K, what hex price do you need in order to buy the team that you can manage those?
Well, the Ricketts who recently just bought the Cubs, I think they paid close to $1 billion, I believe, in total to buy them, and then they also, it came with Wrigley Field too, and they spent $300 million over 3 years each year over 3 years to redo the stadium. So they spent almost $1 billion on just the stadium too. So I mean, we're hoping
Are
for
those
some high prices.
stadiums
Let's
that
go.
expensive? Really?
I mean,
I
well,
didn't
Wrigley
start
Field
with the-
itself, it's like the field is like historic, so they didn't rip it down. So like redoing a place that is basically a shithole is a lot harder than you think than it is. So
It just make a
they could just
decent
level it
place.
and make something
Yeah.
amazing for probably the same price, but instead they're just gonna keep them I mean, God love it. I'm part of me enjoys that.
Hey Gary.
What's up, Gary? How are you doing, brother?
Man, I'm looking forward to that Chicago trip. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it should be lots of fun. I cannot wait. We should have a lot of fun out there. Like I said,
I have a
never
lot of
known-
workshops until then.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll have one out there too. We'll do a Hex event or something afterwards, after the game or something, whatever. Again, this is all, I don't know when the game is. It's gonna be day, night, nothing announced yet. Just I spent a bunch of money on an NFT so I can throw out a first pitch and pump Hex's price on on the silver screen.
Good man.
Nice. Well, we don't want it to conflict with all of the other Hex events going on, so I guess you got to reserve your slot at some point there, Big K, right?
Well, I will as soon as I get in. They have to. There's some NFT people that made it or something, and the MLB. They all got to get together and decide when this is going to happen. I was up for I told them I'd do it this season. I was like, let's do it, man. But apparently That wasn't an option. So gotta wait.
Yeah, I was enjoying. I was actually catching up on the stream about what Kurkowski was saying earlier in this stream about NFTs and about the wild west of speculation that's going to happen in that. I think that's probably going to be one of the first communities. So of course, Hexicans and everybody's going to be rushing for T-share, and then anybody that's going to throw, like Kurkowski was saying about having a penny that became $100 orange fedora. That kind of stuff can happen all over again. I don't really know what to do with that knowledge.
Yeah, I mean it's tough because the thing about it is that this because I sold an orange fedora, my purple fedora didn't gain any value. I mean it's so it's super fucking hard to speculate on that stuff, and I don't, like I said, I don't recommend it. And also it's let me tell you about hexes. People bitch about. This is a funny thing. People want to talk a bitch about Hex's liquidity, but I can buy and sell that shit anytime I want. But I'll tell you how you could set up what I think this NFT is worth and let it sit there, and nobody could ever buy it. I mean, there's and that happens with lots of expensive luxury goods too. I mean, what Richard's talking about watches is true. It's really hard to find a Rolex from a dealer. But if you go online, you can buy a lot of Rolexes speculative that aren't necessarily they're all available to buy, for high.
2-3x retail.
2-3x retail, yes, exactly. But I mean, and the thing is that 2-3x retail, a lot of them are going to sit there for a long time and not necessarily sell. I mean that is what happens with a lot of that luxury stuff. So and NFTs are similar, where some people are going to buy rocks that are NFTs, and then they're going to think they can sell them for more, and then they're not, and then they're going to hold on to it and eventually sell it for less, or almost not at all. They might never sell it at all. It might be such an illiquid market that there's no one ever to buy your picture of whatever, whereas with fungible tokens, if there's liquidity in the pool, then your shit sells, that's
because you said liquidity in the pool, Cabana, can you please press HEX USDC again in the chat on not in the chat, in the screen share on the top left, because you are not on the most liquid pool.
Not
do it now.
If you change the HEX USDC to the USDC pool instead of the ETH pool, Patrick's a stickler for that extra 0.001 that we got right now. 228, sir.
That is 228.
And it looks like that Gary is hard working. Where is your 22 cents smile?
Yeah.
Almost 23.
Yeah.
I saw that and then I decided to come on the stream. I was like, oh yeah, I wonder if they saw the price recently. It just
small way to 25 cents, then 50, then $1.
Yeah, it was the first thing I pulled up on the way back once we got signal, and I just looked over at Motley. I was like, bro, 22 cents. We're at all-time highs.
We should just stay out.
We should stay out here.
Clearly, one of us was the seller.
I think it was Freddie Quotes. I'm going to blame Freddie.
We think Freddie was selling on us.
So I have a question about the DEXs. All of us like the matcha that Richard comments about the 1 inch. When you're looking to actually buy, do you compare all of those sources, or is it still pulling from the same place it's going to buy from anyway? Or do you have
they aggregate across multiple things. I find matcha to be the best over on larger orders. If it's a smaller order, usually 1 inch is a little bit better for me. But I prefer matcha personally.
I prefer matcha. If you need somebody that needs to get in straight from fiat and doesn't want to deal with a lot of exchange stuff, that Dharma.io is pretty cool actually.
They do hold on to your HEX though, so you can buy at the current price, but they will hold on to your HEX for a couple days. So just be aware of that. I wasn't aware of that when I first bought it.
So you'll
lock in the current price.
Yeah, which is better. I mean, that's the sucky thing about coin. I mean, how many times have you known somebody to buy on? I've had a few times somebody buy ETH on Coinbase and then the price dips and they're like,
"What do you mean I don't have access to it?"
Yeah, take this out. Yeah.
So also about the.
I mean, you can also go with the Staker app. Actually, you know, there you can also like just fund USDC, and you don't need ETH there.
Yeah, but on that note, they don't have the wallet. So unless someone is personally onboarding them, a no coiner is going to have a hard time sending ETH to an address and the transaction hash and all.
Yeah, I mean,
that,
usually with the Staker app wallet, you get somebody from the community who is showing you that.
Right,
Usually,
right.
I would say.
And even then, Patrick, you still have to wait upwards of 24 or 48 hours. I mean, you can reach out to Steph.
No, I have more information about that, but it's not my thing to gift it out to the community. But it won't take you 24 to 48 hours.
Maybe there's an update with V2, but I mean, I've done it in the past, and it's taken that long. So.
No, it's not. I mean, when did you do it the last time? I did it like 5 onboardings last week, and each and everybody took like less than 2 hours.
It was like a month ago last time I did that.
Yeah.
I do most of mine over the counter now. It's just easier.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And yeah, so onboarding with the stake app will get better.
That's what I hope
Everything
for.
else to that topic, I will leave to Steph and Fireball.
Another question is, when you're doing limit orders on Matcha or 1inch, is it like if it's a bigger batch, in order to save on a bunch of gas costs, like you could have, let's say 4 different amounts at the same price point, but they're smaller and you're going to pay 4 times the transaction. Does that get filled more so than a single one order price?
I find larger orders usually tend to fill quicker than shorter orders, or at least a large percentage of them. I think there's more money to be made on like orders that are over like $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 as opposed to like a couple $100.
Right. Yeah, if it's a couple $100, especially with Ethereum costs and stuff like that, I don't think it's necessarily justified. I mean, you can set the limit to make the price point low enough to make it worthwhile, or high enough to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that always complaining about it not filling, but it tends to be the smaller orders that don't fill on the extreme wicks, whereas someone has an order out there for 50, 100 grand, that's going to fill first.
Yeah, and then the price that you see, at least on Matcha, is the most recent filled order price on the chart, not the actual HEX price at the moment, right?
Not sure about that one.
I was reading through the technicals a bit because I had orders and I was like, why aren't these filling? Why aren't these filling? Why aren't these filling? I should be filling.
Yeah, I mean,
don't look at it. It'll happen.
Yeah, I mean, by using those sources, I always have to add that you need to take care that you're using the correct source, that you are connecting your wallet with the correct DEX and not like the Russian 1inch one, yeah. And that you also take care that you give the approve to the right contracts and not to random thing, because with those things, people could lose their money if they don't take care about that.
I just went through like 3 days ago that tax star or whatever it is that you deauthorize anything.
Yeah.
Should post that.
Depstar, no? It's thc.depstar.io or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to search for it, and I couldn't because it's not very memorable. It's very difficult to remember. I was like, "Where's that thing that deauthorized?" Then I was like Googling. I was like, "I want to deauthorize like everything. Nobody can touch my fucking wallet." Like, reauthorize again, for lower levels.
Yeah, I put everything on 0 on my main account because it's just my main staking account, and I can just go with another wallet, and another key, another address where I give permissions, and no need to do that like all out of a single wallet if you don't need to save on fees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, speaking of fees, Dangerously Stupid asked, what's it costing to end a 1-year stake at the moment? And Piston says it cost 100 2 nights ago. Motley, you ended a stake at some point recently.
Yeah, I ended a day 12 stake that cost me about 300 a little less than a week ago.
Yeah, it always depends like how much Gwei you have. Like 10 days ago or something like that, I also had a 610 day stake, something like that, coming out. And with the end staking, if you don't have anything else to do with your wallet, you can just manually put down the GWAI. Maybe you increase the gas then a bit, not much, just round it up. And then it went through, after, I don't know, half a day, 1 day, 1.5 days. And I'm hoping that now on the weekend I can hopefully get out with a 30-way transaction again, and this will cost me about $150.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Now ETH went up a bit more, $180 maybe. Yeah.
Man,
sounds about right.
Patrick brought up earlier that the fees on ETH have gone up more X's than HEX has.
Well, it's true. We remember doing penny fees, and it's like,
oh yeah.
I mean,
I was upset when they got to like a nickel, in between a nickel and 10 cents. I was like, what the heck is this? How far we've come.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's got to be. That's why it's so crazy that there's like, I'm excited to see how much buzz and how many projects decide to come over and work on Pulse once there's a testnet up, because I mean, this should be a pretty prevalent problem. I mean, like, a lot of hexagons can kind of laugh at this because their stakes have matured so much,
right.
But there's a bunch.
As an onboarder,
all those orange fedoras that I was selling
business,
are like over. Like, all that orange fedora game is over. Like, you can't sell any. Like, you can't do any of that stuff. Any low level, stuff on ETH now is untenable. So like, how it just makes it an unusable product. So,
and actually, guys, like, what volume had your first? I know we all did more than one, but how much volume did your first HEX transaction had? So in my case, it was like a couple of $100. The first day FOMO, yeah. And ETH was like $150 back then or something like that. So I guess each and everybody, or most of the guys in the beginning, nobody of us did like even 4 figures of per transaction, And now we are like forced to tell people, the best thing, if you want to save a bit, you go all in from the get-go. That's,
Oh yeah,
especially now with timing.
I heard part. I didn't see all of this earlier stream. If you already talked about it a lot, but I did catch the part where Patrick, when Kurkowski were talking about naming conventions and how it was confusing before with the naming conventions, and then about the back and forth about it. And recently, where Richard is saying HEX will be on PulseChain, so it's only going to be called HEX there, and it's going to be called eHEX. But that feeds into the 10,000 coins, and I think that when we start talking to other people that are in crypto space, and we say something like, Link only costs a penny to transact on the Pulse network, it's true, because we're naming even though the original is on the Ethereum network. When you said Link, now you have 2 highways, and it's almost like saying, how long does it take you to get to San Francisco from here? Oh, it takes me 30 minutes. And this other guy is saying it takes me 2 hours. And you're like, well, it's because I'm on a different road. Like, you're still going to the same place. Like, I think a lot of the marketing element of PulseChain, like he's talking about naming conventions, is going to be DAI, even though it's not the identical DAI, the price discovery DAI, the zero value token DAI that's on Pulse when that airdrop happens. I think that that's still going to be very persuasive for these communities to even say that, because they have the same keys. Their keys are functional. It's not like you're trying to change their highway, their car to go to a different highway. It is that they have 2 cars and 2 highways, and you just use the one that you choose to drive more often, the one that has a lower cost, the easiest traffic, the one that's, the naming convention thing that he did recently is what I'm getting at, is what we should be doing. I think once PulseChain is active. Like, if I tweet something, it's going to be Link, but Link is on the Pulse network, and it'll default over to the expensive path is the Ethereum path. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about that? And more?
I mean, I think that I've come around to it a lot. if I think that it's like, I think that that's better, and then all of the truth behind it will be still there, in the sense that if somebody wants to transact the ETH link for pennies on Pulse, they can, because there's going to be incentive to bridge those pairs over and have them both operate. A bridged version of eLink and Pulse and Link will both exist on Pulse. So you can buy all the Link and speculate on it all you want. Are you using it for oracles? Oh no, you're not actually using it to pay for your oracles. Okay, so then find to speculate and hold it on Pulse. Who the fuck cares? You know? So like, I mean, say like, and you can probably hold it there and get better returns on yield farming or whatever other stuff is going on. So like, you know, I think that it really offers an office, like it makes it way cheaper and way easier for people to transact on the network, and unless they're using this stuff for something on Ethereum, then they can just buy it. They can buy it and speculate on Pulse, and it's exactly the same. And I don't think they will be using anything on Ethereum right anytime soon. If we look at the gas fees.
Well, you're seeing things like, and again, this was trying to be popularized back when Ethereum was first launched 5-6 years ago, and saying this is why you need a world computer, you need a ledger, you need smart contracts, you need, you know, these developers that over 4-5 years put a lot of different products into the marketplace based on the backbone of the Ethereum network. And you know, you see places that announce that, you know, as an institution, like a university that says that your diploma is recorded on the Ethereum blockchain, things like that, right? This is one of those things. Or businesses that say that, no, we're not speculating and trading in the token value of Ethereum. We are actually using it to record, you know, business data, things like that, right? Well, a business always looks at its margin, and if it can save 1 or 2% of its total cost in transaction, it usually will move to that, as long as it's the same security model, right? And so Pulse being Ethereum, but basically restarting that price discovery, I think that businesses, not just speculators, are going to use PulseChain going forward. Yeah.
I mean, when I tell people what to buy and how to get their hands on the thing that changed my life, I'm going to be pointing them in the direction of HEX. You know, the one that's on Pulse, you know, because that's going to be the easier one. HEX on the Pulse chain for you, Patrick.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll be telling them to buy it there, because that's where I know that they're not going to get, you know, bent over for fees, and that there's not going to be, you know, there's ideally going to be somebody that isn't entirely involved with, hopefully AML KYCing their ass in and out to be a part of the system, you know, that like respects some privacy. I mean, that's all awesome. You know,
so what are you guys thinking? Like how can we get like new people directly on the Pulse chain? Will there be like an exchange, the exchange where Richard is applying to?
I think there'll be. There's already been. I believe there'll be exchanges that'll pick up Pulse. I mean,
so you think like from the get-go that like, and you think like nameful exchanges or what? Not shady ones.
There's already a few that aren't terrible that have HEX on there that aren't like. I mean, we don't like often talk about them, but there are exchanges that I've used before previously when I was mining coins, you know, that would pick up chains, and they're not entirely. They're not haters, you know, they will list us, you know, and so there will be ways to get fiat onto Pulse relatively quickly, be it that or be it a bridge. Now, bridging obviously is going to be hard early on. I mean, I think that I really think that there'll be a few options out the gate. I mean, I don't think Richard will have his exchange that he wants.
Get off my casting couch, sir.
He says, I want to look chill too. Yeah, I think there'll be some options. I mean, I'm not opposed to there's a couple that I already can think of, Hotbit, Yobit, whatever, that host HEX right now. And then I think there'll be other ones. I mean, did anybody see that AMA with the developer recent that just happened with one of Richard's hired web devs?
No,
it was on Reddit. I
didn't see that.
Yeah,
can you link it to me?
Oh, I shall. It's probably in my history right here.
And there's also existing businesses like examples of Purse or other systems that you buy things on Amazon, buy Toff and things like that. That right now a big percentage of what you would get is eaten up by transaction cost, whether it's a Bitcoin transaction or they do use Ethereum now too. So there's a lot of markets that should, from a business sense, use Pulse instead.
For everybody out there, I put it in the chat. This is a pretty good. It's the head web dev that did an AMA and it said some cool things to say. But one of them was that he does expect. I mean, he believes that there'll be listings more, in the future. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, if being listed on, agreeing with Richard in the sense that being listed on Coinbase. What's the last coin that's been good for?
Not one for a while.
Litecoin. Litecoin, it was good for Litecoin, but that was because Charlie Lee worked at Coinbase and may or may not have had something it was not involved with making sure that Litecoin did well on that. That's the last one, and that was the second or second cryptocurrency they offered. Yeah. So I mean, it's not like everybody wants that, and why by the numbers it's terrible. So I think that other fiat on ramps are better. I mean, that Dharma.io is a pretty decent product.
It's good.
They're gonna list Pulse. They're going to. So I think we'll have some options. I mean, I don't think that there's going to be no options. I mean,
yeah, I also think that we will have options. Do you guys think that with Pulse will get listed sooner, so we might go just with onboarding to Pulse and then show them how to swap this Pulse for HEX, because it will only cost a few pennies to swap it, and it only takes 3 seconds, and it is really hard, I guess, in this short time frame to create a stuck transaction or an error or a failure or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I think that, again, a lot of people understand the narrative of, hey, this is Ethereum but better, a lot easier, and they came for it's Richard's classic. Hey, give them the gains and then tell them how to save their life. There's this pivot. You're give them something they understand, and then be and then give them the gains, which is what they really want.
Man, that chart is just breaking out. Watch us
incredible.
Watch us hit 25 cents today. Watch the FOMO just go nuts.
Man. Yeah, anybody that's sitting on the sidelines, you might be missing a chance. Yeah,
so Kurkowski,
you're missing out, guys. Get in there.
Kurkowski, you remember when I was saying, should I hold on to this silver since you're such a silver expert? Maybe you could give me some expertise in holding my silver.
Get rid of that shit.
I need to let go of that silver. How am I going to get rid of that silver? And then I got rid of that silver.
We're glad you didn't get held at gunpoint selling silver out of your car.
It's so funny too. It's so funny now. Look, you did the right thing, even if you just look at the silver market. So a little sidebar, metals, the government, because man, this is such a funny story. Because not entirely of cryptocurrency, but because of regulations around this being more prevalent, them being worried about margin trading and stuff like that. A lot of these metals companies, Monix, what's the other big one, AppMex, whatever, they offer not only you to buy on spot, but they also offer you, if you want to open up a trading account where you can just buy and sell silver and gold, whatever you want, really, on paper. And then you don't have to lug around 1,000-pound bars of silver, to buy 20 grand worth, Well, they were offering leverage. I had an account at one of these places and was offered leverage. Hey, you can get up to 3 or 4x leverage on your money. And they had to call everybody and close all of their positions in the past month because the government said, we don't fucking trust this margin trading bullshit on your platform. And they're like, but we're one of the most respected metals dealers and all these respected, we've been doing this forever. Nope, not even them are allowed to do that shit. So like so because of that, you know, you've seen a pretty solid retrace in all the metals prices recently. I mean, like what, silver's down 23 bucks or 22 bucks or something like that. And that's a far cry from the Wall Street bets hopefuls wishing that they're going to break the silver barrier at $50.
Yeah, like during the whole bull run of crypto, of stocks, of everything, during the everything bubble, silver only made like one day pop. And
yeah,
that was it.
Because
you know?
a bunch of idiots on Reddit decided to pump and dump it, and that was like the shortest lived, you know, like $32, exactly, and then now it's back down to 23. Yeah. I mean, that's so painful for anybody. I mean, you're in legacy, you're trying to buy something stable, and you just lost almost 50% of your money. Like what?
Yep.
Or 30 of your money right there. Like get the fuck out of here. You know. So I mean. So yes, buy it, sell it, and like no, not financial advice, but my advice to you is solid.
Yeah.
I mean, I
closed that out. I left from the HEX thing or whatever, from the Vegas thing. I drove around for 4 days after that and sold silver off.
Cool.
And then that was I paid off. I had some credit card debt that I paid off because I basically built up debt over the course of 6 months to a year, and then I paid off before the 0% APR fades. And then, so I paid everything off, and then I pulled the cash right back out, and it reset my 0% APR. And then it went back into HEX at basically 17 cents. So good play.
Cool. Gary, I would have a question for you. Would you like to talk what you did like in the last few weeks?
What do you mean?
With Miami and so on.
Oh, yeah. So I was looking at different properties. Obviously, I'm still here. I'm in Miami right now. Whatever. Mm-hmm. It's a nice view. Looked at maybe like 20 different properties. I got to look at the actual commitment level from students before I commit.
Yeah. That's why I'm bringing it up, because I would ask you if you might have a space, you know, so during the 23rd of December until the 4th of January.
Yeah. I heard that you're coming through with your vehicle and you're doing your work.
There would be like some students who would like to have something there.
Yeah, so I should have something definitely by that time. Right now, we're forming the LLC. We already have the LLC process going as far as the parent company. The individual properties underneath the parent property management company would be, you know, like a Miami property, an international property, somewhere else in the States property, right? So individual entities would be daughters or children of the parent. So the formation of the company is coming along. Really, I want the content providers, the people like the Joe Paris's and things like that generate content. They already have curriculum, they already have coursework and things like that. I'm working with them the same way. The people like George Gammon and stuff like that already have content, and they can put their Rebel Capitalist Pro kind of program in front of students, talking about real estate, digital market, you know, things like that aren't simply our crypto niche that we love, right? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to approach a bigger marketplace as far as students, because the numbers break down to where a property that costs $5 million in Miami to purchase and then basically flip by a cash out refi 4 or 5 months later means that you need to generate about 180 students per year, 180 per year. So, you know, inside of HEX, there might be people willing to do that. Outside of HEX, you know, you start looking outside of the crypto space and who already has programs and wealth academies and things like that. But yeah, I think we should be able to do 180 students per year on site. And then there's all types of content that would be generated on site of these excursions, of the different guest speakers, you know, the student perspectives and what do they call it? Like testimonials, all that kinds of stuff will go out, and it will influence a online sales market, you know, different program of the content packaged up, edited well, you know, very direct, where people that are not going to get on an airplane and go to Miami, they are going to buy a program. Basically, here is the first 3 sessions or parts of the curriculum sold out. So I have a whole program right now. My focus is this Kiev trip that's planned. I think I shared some stuff as far as Alex. He did a personal video and testimonial about what he's coordinated and scheduled and things like that. I'm still soliciting a few other people to see if they're going to go. Some people at the last minute, like their passport might be expiring, so they're like doing mad rushes to get their passport correct. So my priority at the moment is the Kiev trip, and then right after that should be able to find a property. I did find some that I did make offers on, and when I made the offers as an individual, I didn't have to have consensus from everybody that might be in the LLC or be the owner of the company in the future, of the property in the future. I can put, and I did put offers, and just make sure that the contract, if it was accepted, was assignable. So I could assign it to an entity.
Yeah, so the reason why I'm asking is like, because for Christmas and New Year we already would need to look into accommodation, you know, and it's not like that we want to be free students or something like that of the HEX University.
Yeah.
But you know, if you have an opportunity for us to have there something in Miami over the time, I can skip like looking into stuff what I would need to book already, and we can just make a follow-up in our private chat if you want to.
Yeah, we can figure that out. Yeah, so once I can commit that I actually have control of property, then I can tell you exactly where. For now, I'll say that we definitely will have something. I don't know if it's going to be in time. I will be in time. It'll be in time. We'll find something.
Because I need like at least 5 bedrooms or 6.
At least, what, just for himself? Just gonna like
no, not only for myself, but you know, the road trip is going bigger and bigger, man. And
I mean, if you've seen his dancing skills, there's going to be just babes flocking to that place. So he's going to have like rooms for multiple. So, yeah.
But you know, there is I need a bedroom. Evan needs a bedroom. Then we have a couple who are our social media manager. Then 2 friends of the Crypto Sparbuch background team are also Hexagon OGs will need there. So I'm at 5 already. And
you need a bigger Airbnb. Shit.
Yeah.
That's why I'm already looking into that. You know, because Miami is crowded over Christmas and New Year. And so
jump on that. Yeah, sure.
So if you have something, I would like to rent the whole thing, Funnington.
Let's see what that number is. I'd
like to buy you out.
Airbnb, it sounded like a liability. I'm talking about meek little students that are trying to become wealthy, and you're talking about like discotheque. The Germans are coming to town.
Yeah, Germans are taking over America.
He's looking to break the place in to see what it can handle, and then
Yeah, we're gonna break it in. You gotta make sure it can handle, some abuse.
So one of the properties, I think you guys might have saw it, has a huge HEX shaped skylight, and I did a thing about it.
Yeah, I mean, everything what you were looking into was big enough that it would fit.
So, Gary, whatever you got.
A hard time.
Yeah, whatever you got, Gary.
I saw this property online first, and then I reached out before I even arrived in Miami, and I said, I want to see that property. And they're like, okay, we're going to get you in. And then they say reset, then reset. And I was like, what's the problem? Why can't I see this property? They're like, well, it has a tenant in it right now. And the owner says yes, but the tenant, we have to give agreement to the tenant to be able to show the property on the inside. I was like, okay, what about this day, whatever. And it kept getting put off and actually reset. And I was getting pissed. I was like, that's the one that has the HEX like symbology, and it looks like it would be great for a podcast. And that it's got a yacht parked in the backyard on the canal. And I was like, I want to see that property. So I did drive by. And I didn't know who was in there, but I did drive by on a day that I couldn't see it. But I did drive by like all sneaky and stuff. And I saw a Domino's guy was delivering. And I was like, oh, I want to see who answers the door when the Domino's guy is delivering to this guy, this tenant's house.
It was Richard.
This massive football player came out. I wouldn't be able to recognize, but football playing shaped guy, big, massive guy, answers the door, takes the pizza, goes back inside. And then later I find out that I don't know his name, but the realtor told me, yeah, it's tenanted by a Buffalo Bills like linebacker or something like that. It's just there like 2 days of the week or whatever, or he's going to be gone for the next 2 weeks. That's why I finally got to see the property. The property is pretty cool. It's just you got to look at the distance between. Like I'm trying to have the logistics be very easy for people that get buzzed or go out, and we can still provide security and things like that locally in like Brickell or around this area. That's the Bay Area where all the boats are and stuff. This one was a little bit more remote than I would like. I don't want people driving that far in supercars or whatever. I don't want yachts to be taking that long. So I'm looking more proximal. It was really cool, but I just wish it was closer to where we're at right now. So I'm still in the shopping mode is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, so Gary, you don't have a property right now. You would have guests already.
Yeah. Okay. I just need you and 100 and what did you say, 5 guys? So I need 175 other commitments for the coming year. But yeah.
But during the time of the whole year, right?
Yeah, during the course of a year. So if I'm running the math, it would be five students, 1 instructor. That's why I'm looking for a 6-bedroom, 6-bath. And it would be 5 students per week, right? Times 3 weeks. So that's 15 per month, with 1 week of basically reset and make sure everything's all set. The curriculum is updated. You have time for the guest speaker or the guest host to arrive and the other one to depart, because I don't want to take on a new job of basically, even if it's a nice property, I don't want to be there full year round. I can't legally be anyway. I have to be in Puerto Rico half of the time. So I still need to find someone that is owner invested, social enough that they can play host, chaperone enough that people don't act a fool inside of an expensive property or with the toys. So I'm still looking for that kind of cohort instead of just a co-owner. We can all be co-owners, which is fine, but it does come down to a management issue of students and hosts and curriculum. So it's more than just a property acquisition.
I mean, we are not really looking for a curriculum or like something like that. Only like for a nice location over the time, So we are already in the process of planning the Miami workshops and so on. So, and we want to have a lot of fun around this time, after several months of workshops, with the Christmas time and then New Year's time. And in between this,
I'm looking on VRBO for you right now.
And I know that you are a guy who knows like a lot of places where you can stay or which you can rent. Like for next year, I will also come back to you for Medellin.
It's funny, when I went to this thing in Miami with Crypto Coffee, and we went and the Kurkowski thing or whatever, I was power networking, right? And that's a networking environment to do it, right? 700 attendees, and it's like 13 panelists and things like that, right? Super HEX Win came to visit. And when he came to visit, one of the nights, I hadn't gone drinking in maybe 6 or 8 months, something like that. I said, let's go out. And he's like a timid kind of guy. He's a super amazing, fantastic guy. But other than his TikToks, he's a timid personality. And so I was like, let's go out. I feel like, we haven't done anything fun. In the past couple of days, we've just been looking at properties together. And then we went to this place. And I had the best police experience of my life, honestly. I've had a few police experiences. And so we went to this event, to this place, and I remember that it was getting pretty crowded, a lot of Latina women around, stuff like that. There's a guy that had a Caucasian guy that had a very blingy Cuban necklace. I don't know if you guys know what that looks like, but it had tons of diamonds on it. It was a big emballer. And I was like, hey, man, and I'm making this contact to this guy. I was like, hey, man, how much did that cost? And he's like, $80,000. I was like, man, that's pretty pimp. Like, he's got an $80,000 necklace on or whatever, right? And he had like a bodyguard kind of guy kind of hovering around him because he was in a VIP section. And I met the bodyguard was like a 6'6" mountain of a guy, big guy. And I was like, hey, we want to get up there on the stage with my friend that I just made right here. I want to get up on stage. And I think I bought a bottle and stuff like that. And I got more drunk than I should have. And by the way, I did get the contact information for the bodyguard. He bodyguards for all of the like VIP or all the football players and things like that when they come to these clubs in this area, right? So it's like, all right, we need an influencer at this house we're going to set up, and make sure that we know contact information, text me. So while I still had function of my networking ability, I got his information. And then that quickly faded because alcohol hits me pretty hard. And I remember I went outside. I didn't even say anything. I stumbled out a bit, and then I went outside to get some air. And then I decided that I should sit on the grass. And then I couldn't I checked my phone to call Uber or something, and my phone was dead. I was like, I guess I'll just take a nap. So I laid
was-
up like this.
It was framed in a pretty funny way.
Nice, but I'm on this, not the sidewalk, but the grass area, right? But people walking by and everything like that. Some girl and her boyfriend's like, "Hey, you got to put your phone away. You're gonna get robbed." And I was like, "Oh, thanks," that kind of thing, whatever, right? And so I had my great story of amazing police officers was this. They woke me up. They said, "Hey, man, you need to go home," or something like that. And I was like, "But my phone's dead." He says, "Well, let me hold your phone." And I'm tipsy enough that I just gave him my phone, and he walked off. The two cops walked off. I was like, "I guess I'm going back to sleep. I don't have a phone now." I went to sleep. And then some time came back, and the officer shook me again, gave me my phone, and had like 10% charge on it. So he must have gone to his car and charged it. And then he said, "Now can you get to Uber?" I was like, "I don't know how to get there." And so he's like navigating my apps. He's getting into my Uber. He says, "Where do you live?" I was like, "I'm at this place," selected by name or whatever. He selects it. And he says, "They're going to be here in like 7 or 8 minutes." I was like, "All right." And he says, "But you're going to fall asleep. Like, stand up." I was like, "All right." So I stood up. And then he says, the area was so busy with like cars to pick up folks, whether it was Uber or otherwise, because it was kind of closing time. And they said, and I never would have found the Uber. I never would have looked at the license plate right. I would have gotten the wrong car, sure. And he just like walked me like a block to get to this Uber and put me in. And I was like, man, I've never had such a good police story ever. Like I've had plenty, but that was the best. So,
I would also have a funny one from Africa.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like back in 2013, 14, yeah, I had a semester abroad in Namibia, and we went to make a lot of holiday. So we rented cars and went like through the whole southwest part of Africa. And once we went to the Victoria Falls and then to Botswana and through the Kobe National Park. And after that, we like drove too fast through a town, and the police stopped us. And usually like their fees, their penalties are pretty high. And my friend was like driving, and he left the car and talked with the young police officer, and the young one told him, "Yeah, I'd like go to my colleague back there in the car and pay there." And he walked back, and then he saw like, this guy is sleeping in the car. Yeah, went back to the young guy and say, "I'm sorry, but your colleague is sleeping. I don't want to wake him up." And the young guy said, "Me neither. Have a nice ride." That was also really funny.
Yeah. You always wonder, I mean, you need to have somebody that's in that, that you have a safe zone. Like I usually don't feel safe to get drunk unless I'm around people that I know or an environment that I know. Even when I travel and stuff like that, I have to have like that. This person's going to get me home. This person's going to take care of me, kind of thing, or whatever.
Yeah, but so where were your friends actually? So where were Matt, Crypto Coffee, or
found me outside if the cop hadn't already put me in the Uber? I was like,
okay. So, but you said like you were sleeping there like 2 hours.
I had no sense of time. I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah,
know.
But if your phone until 10%, it's not like it might need 10 minutes at least, and so on.
No, I don't know.
It's not like that the cops show up like a minute after you fell asleep. So
yeah.
Well, it all turned out all right this time. I find the police in the city, honestly, like in big cities at least, man, the problems find them. They're not like mostly the chillest cops most of the time are the big city police, because like they don't really want to they're not trying to go downtown and make a bunch of paperwork and whatever. Yeah. Like out of nowhere, someone's gonna sideswipe their car and it'll be all hammered and whatever. Like just it's the randomest. The cops that I know from Chicago, they have to be on their guard all the time for goofy stuff like that. Yeah, if they bust kids doing dumb stuff or somebody, they'd be like, "That's an easy thing. This guy needs a charge for a minute. It's fine. This guy needs to get home. He's probably a liability being here. He's gonna get robbed or something." This is not
country cops are just bored and they don't mind.
Yeah, they're like, "What are you? I think this jail hasn't had anyone in it for a week.
You're not from around here, are you?"
Yeah. I mean, even in the city, like the suburbs cops, they're also similar in the sense that like they don't have as much to do, so they'll give you a harder time. I mean, in Miami or in Chicago, that man, they're pretty all right. They're pretty all right.
My God, look at that price chart.
Liability. He did invest like 30 minutes into me at least, I would think, between charging and coming back and getting the Uber and getting me in the car. I wish I had gotten his name or taken a picture of his badge or something to promote even more, because, you know, everybody wants to have life go back to normal. Miami wants life to go back to normal. They want tourism to come back. They want cruise ships to start cruising. So these things, as far as like the police get the scorn for this past year and a half, but they also represent like the economic engine also of a city. Detroit, all kinds of issues, right? Miami probably could fall and economically and things like that also, right? So when somebody has a good experience, like you'll tell one, maybe two people about your good experience on a thing, and you'll tell 10 people about the shitty experience that you had, you know? So it was just really good. I'm trying to, you know, share that because it was a really good experience for me.
It's so true. With just like online reviews, because I'm in digital marketing still for a little while. I was supposed to be out by now, but thanks, PulseChain. But yeah, it's like you're exactly right, because the reviews.
I guess Funding Jim is just like pretty handsome when he's drunk.
Yeah,
I'm coming with you.
The negative reviews are by mostly people are more easily motivated when they're angry, and they'll hop online and they'll just rage and get it out, to where, hey, if you had a good experience, you're kind of like, oh, well, I should have. So you don't really feel like or remember to go on and praise somebody, which, you know, more people would do, because good reviews are really powerful and just something I'd like to see more. And that's just it's online and in real life, as Gary was saying. So,
yeah.
Just a couple things in the chat. Had Benny Bills was like 6 more likes, bro. There is no bikini for 150 likes. That was Motley's stream last night. So if you want to go,
Motley took on a bikini. What?
No, not me. I would have had like a negative 150 likes if that was like.
I don't know. I felt great about it. She said she was married, and then I felt a little creepy for like the 45 minutes to the build up until the reveal. And I was like, like, I don't know.
He was there. I was trying to get him to come on stream, but
he's there, so it's like, all right, cool, yeah, we're good. Yeah. So that was fun.
That was fun.
Had a question from Stacy, who I did not recognize, so perhaps a new Hexican. Just wanted to know, you know, we've heard it before, but just any other feelings on, you know, when a site like CoinMarketCap could capitulate? I mean, we're at all-time highs again.
Not before $1 is my take on that. So
I'd rather them just go extinct.
Not before $1.
I'd rather them just die out at this point.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Binance go under, CoinMarketCap go under, Nomics takes over, Uniswap. Dexes are better anyways.
Yeah, just go ahead and show everybody, like, who shows you any coin ranking site, what is nomics.com about, and just show them right away, you know. Each and everybody who comes like, oh, look at my coin list. No, take this coin list.
And I think Hexicans, including Richard, have done a great job of that recently. I think it was maybe Nico, and he was, or maybe it was another stream. There's so many streams recently, but I've seen multiple streamers be like, okay, nomics.com. Oh, here, pull this up. This is the real data. You know, this is what you should
because they don't give you worse advertisements. They don't give you like bad referral things or something like that. You just focus on giving each and everybody the correct data directly from the blockchain, and that should be honored, you know. There is nothing shady or like anything behind that. Yeah, nobody of us needs to make money out of that, but everybody of us wants to have a nice list of coins to compare on a high quality level as well, you know.
And
Well, Nomics provides like a kick-ass business API for businesses that need that kind of information to do their jobs, to like make money, you know. So like they're just better overall. What their product that they like, the actual product that they offer, besides just me and you going to check our coin prices, is better than everything in the industry right now. I mean, like that's they're like the supreme one, you know. So like they've been ranked by outside people as being top of their game, you know. So I mean, It's I mean, hopefully everyone figures out it eventually. I mean, I don't know if you saw. There's Clay was calling out CoinMarketCap for even stealing some of their stuff recently. Like they have literally stolen some of their boxes, like almost word like image for image, the trending stuff, and all that stuff was like straight from.
Yeah, he posted screenshots of that, and it was like, wow, that's one of my talking points. But due to Motley celebration and not getting this organized from a fishing boat, thank you for bringing that up, AK, because it was just. It's so obvious. Like Clay Collins was just like, "Hey, you jacked our shit, and here's how you did it." And CoinMarketCap versus Nomics side by side, and it's like, oh my gosh! And he dated it, timestamped it, and it's like, man, you're just getting beaten on every level, where CoinMarketCap is. So
yeah. And I mean, that's what you do when you're getting beat by and you're not innovating. You try and copy. How it works.
Hopefully everyone got their damn buys in, because it looks like we're going to 25, 30 cents before the announcements of testnet and PulseChain is live.
Yeah, like in the beginning of the stream, I asked BK if there was a stream of Richard last night because I needed to sleep, and and he told me like, no, he had some issues and there wasn't a stream, and I was like, so even without any announcement, we get this candle today.
Yep.
Nice.
Great. Yep.
That's nice. That's really
we're in the exact same situation we were a month or two ago for the PulseChain sacrifice. He actually made the announcement. Then we had the delays, and then we just have this steady creep up now. And now we're just waiting for these two catalysts, and the sellers just continue to get wiped out. And so now we just no one's ready to sell because we're going to 30 cents, 50 cents, $1. Like, God, that's a beautiful chart. This could be the parabolic breakout very soon.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Don't sell.
Damn it. I should have bought more. Damn it.
Yep. Still can.
I did set a limit order while I was on the stream, but whatever. I don't think it's
that's not gonna sell. Unless we get a crazy wick down. I don't know.
Where was the limit?
I don't know. What'd you say to that, Gary, so we can front run you? Cabana wants
I tried to look at the trend line. I was like, a little bit above the trend line. All right, let me see there. See if that happens.
Man.
But you'll start to see that. Like, people set the walls that we just broke through, and they'll set the walls, underneath it. So it just trends up.
Chasing. God,
yeah,
that's great.
And what else was? I just want to give HEXDeck16 a shout out as I'm catching up in chat. Onboarded 3 new HEXkins today.
Nice.
Dude,
I also awesome. Did you see that super chat up there? Somebody that said that I always love it when somebody says that we were right. So
I'm going through, man. I'm trying to catch up.
It was Alan. You guys and Richard were right. Told my friends to buy at 10 cents. Now they're buying because it's at 23 cents. Can't wait to see what Pulse does. Thanks, Alan. Appreciate the super chat.
Boom. There we go.
Yeah, there it is. I like that.
Alan is one of our regulars on Happy Hour. Thanks, man.
I really appreciate it. Man, what a night. What a day.
This is just awesome. It's like, I think I put it in chat. It's like the second Happy Hour show we've done where we're making all-time highs as we're going. So this is just so cool.
Yeah, it feels great.
Yeah, no sellers here.
No, we're too busy streaming.
That's why I want everyone to stream. Nobody can sell. You're just too busy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so what do we think is the next level of resistance? I think 25. Motley and I think I've lost track of time the past couple of days because it's been a blur getting up at like 4 a.m. But I think we mentioned at some point over the past 2 days, I was like, hey, what do you think like the next resistance level is? I was like, I'll say like a quarter, just like logically. But
I remember when we were talking so much about the half cent and said when we get to a penny, and then I remember 5 cents like it'll be the psychological resistance because we have nickels in our pockets. And then 10, we blasted right through. I mean, we went from like 8 to 11, like almost instant. I'd never really stayed at 10.
Richard says those doubles come faster and faster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so this
and I mean,
apology is you would say 25 because you have a quarter in your pocket and you're used to the number. It seems like it would be an anchor point, but Hex
I've seen a couple of traders trying to call like right around 27, 28 cents as the next level of resistance. That's what I've seen on a couple of people's the TA experts out there.
And then we get the testnet launch announcement, and then we just blow through 30 cents.
Yeah,
and never left behind.
Go back to that comment Brazology put up about buying his hood for his car. He needs to stick with that no hood.
Leave it without the hood, bro. It's cooler that way.
That's his trademark now. I think.
You should get like a badass supercar with like the turbo sticking out of it that just doesn't even need a hood. That should be your next ride.
You can use it as a filter.
Guys, how hard it is to get supercars? Oh, it's a nightmare.
Never tried.
Yeah, like I'm in the process of trying, or like with the team here in Vegas and so on. It's not the easiest task.
Well, the insurance and being an international is the big hang up for you, probably.
Yeah. We are teamed up with Barry and T-Money here from Vegas. You know those guys, and so that's how it's possible for us only as tourists to make all this happen.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Brazology
that website.
I bet there's. Don't flash your money so soon, man. You just rock the no hood car for a little bit longer. You'll be all right.
What will be like pretty ironic? We will be done with the Pulse car before we are done with the HEX car.
That is ironic.
That is so ironic, really.
So they're all getting wrapped right now?
Yes, so the Pulse car is already in the process of getting wrapped. Then we also have a third car. This will get wrapped as next, and next week we should get the supercar as well and wrap this one as the third one.
Can you tell us what supercar you guys are trying to get, or is that
yes? So right now the team car is is a Ford Expedition. The name fits pretty good, and huge car where we have plenty of space. And the Pulse car will be a Audi Q7, and the HEX car should be. I don't want to bring this before I really have the key, man. But it will be a Audi R8.
Oh, yes,
so
I love R8s.
Of course, that the Germans need to.
Yeah, I'd probably take an R8 over a Lambo. That's awesome. Oh, I can't wait to see it. You said that one's getting the HEX wrap?
Yes.
Oh my god,
it's gonna be really awesome, man.
Of course, the fastest car needs to get the HEX wrap.
Yes, 100%.
So yeah.
Hey,
get to those Quattro Cinco sakes faster.
Alan, I was just looking at this. It's 63 million in the pools that I'm seeing. Only 63 million HEX out there. This is crazy.
Do you check all of them?
Well, I just checked.
There was 95 before, so somebody's been buying it up. Is that how much was bought recently?
Did you go to Apex?
Yeah, go to apex.win or whatever. And
that's what I did.
Charts,
check all the pools.
I added all of them together. It was 63.
Someone check his math. I don't trust him.
Thank you.
You're on it, Patrick.
And I saw 93 the other day. People kept talking about 93. I think it was Johnny Chaos kept saying 93.
52, 61.
Look at that price per t-shirt.
63 million.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. Shut up.
Right on.
Where did he come out?
I mean, you could probably say 65 because there is a total of 12 or 18 exchanges or something that do list HEX. I mean,
so what you're saying is Cabana's wrong. All right.
Just for the record.
He was the closest without going over. So if this was the Price is Right, he'd be all right. He'd be all right.
I'm cool with that.
But yeah. So I mean, there's probably 65 million maybe.
Look at that t-shirt rate. Look at that
Price is gonna take off, Blues.
Well, look at the thing. Also, HEX and HEX community. Every time I see Trayvon making his new videos, he's always like, I don't care about Bitcoin, even though it can make money. I don't care about Ethereum or these other things, even though they can make money, because HEX is just so fun. It's just like fun. I keep saying that all the time. It's like, I don't know. It's just so fun. It's like fun to speculate. It's the speculative stickiness that Richard said, 2 years ago. It's true.
Yeah, I'll never. That was one of those sentiments that like I agreed with fully when he was like, when people had said to Richard, "Thanks for making crypto fun again." Like I was fully in that camp. I was like, man, this made this shit like really like I used to love this shit, and then I started to hate it, and I had to, like, and then now
a lot of us fell out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Alan is asking who has the best bandana, and I would say it's Big K, because this is like from Big K.
Yeah, not only that, but this is actually, it looks like a totally standard bandana, but it is a Louis Vuitton. Right. This is a Louis Vuitton standard bandana.
Doesn't come with a standard price, that's for sure.
Oh no, it does not, sirs. This is a very expensive, very basic cotton bandana.
So Big K, you are already on it, like for getting new bandanas, right?
Oh, I am. I've got a bandana collection that would make Steven Tyler cry, my friend.
I love it.
Yeah, but we need the custom made ones that you have, like here the HEX logo.
Yes, I spoke with my girl. I just have to get the logos that we want. We can just place out a graphic on all of them, and then we can set up the ones that we want to do. Yes, I'm on that. That is.
Yes.
As soon as you said something about that, I reached out to my girl Hillary.
Awesome. This community is awesome. It like even like with the workshops right now and all that stuff, because I together with Abid, we wouldn't be capable of managing like this whole trip, and that's really like shout out to each and everybody in the community. You are really helpful, and it's just awesome what you get done in this group of like-minded investors.
It's true, man. It's true. It's incredible. It is really cool. That's part of what makes it so fun, is that like I'm excited to put stuff together and make things happen for the community.
Like today on the stream, I maybe found the accommodation for Miami as well.
Yeah, just keep bringing it up, Patrick. Let's keep the states open.
There's always a place on the grass. I found it.
Gary will join you.
But what do I say to the cops? Where I'm staying at. What do I say to the cops where I'm staying at? Like, here.
Gary recommended this to me.
Yeah, you get an Uber ride right around the block. Like, oh no, this is my.
Yeah. Speaking of this great community, check this out. Look at us.
Yeah.
Look at us.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So we got Nardo for the win on the left. We got Freddie Quotes next to him. We got our guy that got the only Marlin pretty much as soon as 20 minutes as we put in.
It had like 10. It wasn't even like 10 minutes of having the lines out. He got a white Marlin. Yep.
And then Motley Investor, I think is that Max back there?
That's Max. I covered up his face. Sorry, Max.
Yeah. He's giving you the one eye through the fishtail.
Yeah.
So yeah. So just
then you got your host on the end.
What?
I said you got your host on the end.
That's right. Thank you.
Yes, that is awesome.
Did you guys clean them and take them home, or what'd you do with them?
Yeah, they're all bagged up in the freezer.
They're in the freezer, man. So
Nice. Awesome.
So where do I need to drive with my cars to get a piece of it?
I don't know if you'll make it in time. It'll be gone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Patrick, like it'd be awesome, like if you came here like in season. You're gonna be here in the wintertime, but yeah, I was like, man, you should like come down here and hang for a couple days on your DC Richmond adventure. But
I mean, there is one trip which will be the road trip, and I guess after that I might need to take a private trip, for have the time for this private conversation that's in the actions, because the trip will be packed. This will be packed, I guess. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that tuna is awesome. That's killer catch.
Yeah, Nardo catching that tuna was the hardest fighting fish. That was awesome.
That was a long fight. We
that thing like broke him.
nothing.
Nardo was like, I was blacking out. Like, he's like, I just heard you guys like giving me tips, and that was it. Like, he's like, oh, I should be a smoker. Like, he was dying. That tuna whooped his ass for like 20 minutes. It was a good fight.
Yeah, and then when it got right to the boat, it just dove, and pilot or captain had to maneuver the ship, and it was cool. It was a good fight, and I'm so glad he got that, because that set us up. Because I don't know. I mean, the mahis that we caught weren't bad. It's like reeling in just like a normal fish. I mean, it didn't feel all that bad.
Easy.
Yeah, but I guess psychologically, Nardo prepared us all, because we witnessed that fight, and then our fights were like 5 minutes or less. So
took him like a half hour to recover.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, I bet. Man, you fight a fish that long. Like, I think I've fought like a rooster fish for about 25, almost a half hour, like 25 minutes once. And yeah, I straight up puked after that shit. I'm wasn't that out of shape or anything, but man, that was a tough ass fight. That is for sure.
Shoulders are burning, back is burning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, like 4 beers beforehand, like
that doesn't help either.
Does not help. That was unintended.
We were ripping beer bongs after every fish that we caught too. Yeah, not the best.
Yeah, HEX 19. They were pretty much the best. What the cool story is, there's some Mid-Atlantic. There's a lot of major fishing tournaments, and there was one recently this summer, and our first mate actually won it. So he knows what he's doing. He's just
$3 million.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
He was just. I was on Wake Up HEX yesterday morning with Discourse Syndicate, just real quick. I hopped on and I was like, yeah, he owns Ethereum. He knows about crypto. So we're trying, we put a little bug in his ear a little bit to talk about HEX. So we'll see. But he was. I should
have left him my HEX book. I didn't even think about it.
Oh, yeah.
I should have left him one.
Absolutely. Wales, what's up?
What's going on, guys? How you guys doing?
Hi, Wales.
Very good.
Doing good, man. Happy pump day to everybody.
Pump day.
Yeah, this is a great day.
That's right.
Happy 15% more in your pockets.
That's right.
I'll take it, man. I will take it.
Yeah. Red candles in sight.
Yep. What I like seeing is these big green candles, like great volume, and then the volume tapers off when the cells come in, and then we get bigger green candles, and these moves up. Oh man, so good, so good.
Yeah, we still see a lot of buy pressure and not really much sell pressure, because who is stupid enough to sell that right now? Before the announcemements, before the fork. So
they're
out there. Trader is stupid enough to do that.
They're out there, bro.
Oh yeah,
they're out there.
Will won last Saturday. This is a guy that's got, I want to say 25-30 million, and they're all staked, but he has stakes ending for the next 2 weeks, starting last week, all the way until the end of November. And thank you, Wales, for posting that, because I marked it on my calendar, man. So it's like, okay, I'm waiting for this guy. And if you're wanting in, maybe Saturdays after the close, look for a 5 million dump, because he just flat out dumped it. And if he does that a few more times and you're looking for a dip, and you're around, have those limit orders ready to go, because if his previous behavior, prevails, then there's 25-30 million HEX left to dump from just that one guy.
I know Abra was talking about on Twitter about onboarding. Evidently, he's got some big players he's trying to onboard, because he was asking Hexicans that had $5 to $15 million worth of HEX they're willing to part with, which I don't know if he's going to find a willing participant to get rid of that much HEX before the snapshot, but
pump that price.
He hit me up as well, and I also said, like, I don't know of anybody who is willing to
keep definitely not. Yeah,
were they saying that publicly?
Even with a premium. What's
Yeah,
that?
so even when, so I've heard these kinds of things. So did they say that publicly? That was on a channel, or is it a private thing?
It was crypto Twitter. Abra's been a day one OG, and I guess he's got some big players that he's looking to onboard. But I don't think anyone's going to give up that kind of amount of money in HEX right before the snapshot.
But the narrative I've heard is people say they don't want to move the price and they want to go avoid OTC or go OTC so that they don't move the price. But then why would anybody that actually holds the volume of HEX or anything of any kind of crypto, why would they do that for cash? You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No one's going to do that. Not if you're smart.
Yeah, you have to have.
Yeah, I mean, like, unless
unless
they for some reason want out and like they don't, and they like, but like, why? What would you want
It's
out?
the
Right
same
now?
reason you don't actually get the value out of silver at the moment. Like you're okay. Here's the spot, but then there's a premium. Here's the spot, but here's the So I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also,
2 is 5 to 6
asking-
million unstaked. I mean, that's
Yeah, I mean,
there's,
actually,
there's some liquid
there's a
wallets
lot
out
of
there.
wallets. Yeah, I have a lot of them bookmarked. I need to consolidate my different computers because I have all these Etherscan accounts that I watch, and typically a lot of those that are liquid, they'll sell if not every week, or they'll do it every month, and it's just those are the ones that you want to watch that actually you check back in a few days later. It's like, oh yeah, they dumped 3 million. So just bookmark them as they come along, or I'll be happy to report once I can get these things together. But there's the 5 to 6 million that and Whale tweeted about last week was just this guy, whoever it is, has a bunch of stakes ending through, and then he's done. But they're 5 million each, I believe, and it's every 2 weeks. So a week from tomorrow night. So we'll probably remember to mention it on stream for you guys who maybe want to get a better price. I don't know. I'm good. So
maybe
I'm fine.
if we're not at like 30 cents by next week.
Exactly. So you might want to
Just
get
saying.
into that. So
Dip is relative at that point.
that's the other thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I also don't know what to advise people right now. The last call I gave to buy HEX was at 13.5 cents. So today somebody in my community reached out and thanks for the update you did 2 weeks ago. I managed to get in at 13.5.
Well, it becomes a small, just like in anything else, like Bitcoin or anything else. They have a smaller and smaller population as that concentrates because you've held through. Right, you already had your house, you already had the car, you already had the vacation, you already had the lifestyle, right? And then you don't have to sell. The next wave comes around. Like this guy, he lets 5 to 6 million go every 2 weeks, but he will do that either till he's depleted and he has no more HEX to sell, or he'll do it until he doesn't have the reason to sell. Like he's like, okay, now I've got the things that I wanted. I don't have a better ROI speculative option. Why would I sell? So. You'll see that like these bigger movements of bigger chunks at a time, that'll shrink. And just like you don't see 100,000 Bitcoin sold at spot today, right? You just don't see it because one, there's not that many people that have that concentration, and they've already sold 100,000 back when it was worth less than a penny, right? So same thing.
Yeah, it's just so amazing to think about because the higher we go, like your portfolio or HEX value percentage just is going to go up that much faster because 1 penny to 2 pennies, that's 100% move. But if you have all that HEX there, that's a totally different ball game. If you go from 20 to 30 cents in the blink of an eye, or just what have we done? 18 cents to 23 now? That's 5 cents. That's 5 of those going from 1 penny to 2 pennies if you've held all that. And those moves just get bigger and bigger percentage-wise for your portfolio. Think about if we get to $1, when we get to $1, if we get to $1.
Yeah, but we are only at 23 cents because Motley got a huge thing from the army, that finally they got rid out of him, and that's why we got this move.
Is that what it is?
It was not like that he applied for retirement in the army. It was like the army saying to him, "Can you please retire?"
I had my divisional officer hit me up today, actually, after I got back from the boat ride, and she was asking me because I guess they're asking all the armed services now if they're going to get the vaccine or not. And
secret word, don't say that word.
Vaccine? You can say vaccine. It's not going to get you bad. But they're like, so are you gonna get it? I was like, does it matter? I was like, I get out on October 15th. I'm separating. No, I'm not gonna get it. And she's like, oh, okay. But yeah, evidently they're talking about separating a lot of people in the military that don't want to get the vaccine. So that should be interesting over the next couple months. But I was just like, I'm already getting out. Can't be that big of a deal.
So I was in the Gulf War and I was a corpsman with a reconnaissance unit. And at the time, Saddam was gassing people. He had a history of gassing people, right? So we have a lot of nerve agent risk, basically. So you're in the desert. You have to wear mop suits, which are basically these
they suck.
Charcoal lined, entire body gas mask kind of situation in 120-degree weather. Sucks, right? And they told us that we had to make sure that the Marines took pretiostigmine, which are the little tablets you put on your tongue, but don't tell them what it is, really, right? They could always volunteer not to take it, but you tell them, okay, this is going to protect you from nerve agent. I mean, you tell them what it is, what it's doing, and say, this is going to protect you from nerve agent. It's basically going to occupy those places on your nerve receptors. I forget what the name is, but basically the endings on your nerve that would attach to the nerve agent that would kill you. You're not going to breathe anymore. And so they would mostly take it. And some would say that they didn't want to take it. I say, okay, well, if you can't take it or won't take it, then we can't have you because you're a risk in the war, in the campaign theater. So we actually need to send you back, right? But then they don't want to tell you that because then people will say, oh, well, I'm not going to take it because I don't want to be in war, right?
Because they want to go back, yeah.
About what you can say and what you can't say. Like you want them protected, but you don't want them to over-exercise that option of being removed from the risk of war, right? Yeah. Anyways, so after all of that's done, that's the politics of war and things like that. When I come, actually, they educated me while I was there, but then when I come back, I did find out that the largest manufacturer and supplier of that particular drug is Raid, and Raid kills roaches. So it's the same drug that basically tells the roach to flip over and die, but in small doses in human beings, it protects you from this potential threat of a nerve agent release. So it's the same thing really with the vaccine. I mean, my perspective is you have a risk. You do have a risk. It's not infinitely small and negligible and gone. There you have is a risk, but you also have a benefit, right? I think actually, I don't want to get too far in it. I was talking earlier about I think that the risk of our living in sterile environments over the past year, locked up and not engaging with human beings as much, being hypersensitive, honestly, about our exposure actually probably brings our immunity system down. It hasn't been challenged by normal dirt, normal regular flu and snotty kids. We haven't been around that environment for a year and a half. So when you see a spike up in the news and they say, oh, look, this many things have been challenging us, whether it's COVID or not or whatever, it may be just because our immune system is under challenged, honestly. What do you think? Is that too much for a crypto show?
Maybe. I don't want to risk it, but I actually fully agree with you on that. And I think there are just other kind of I'm no doctor or whatever. I have friends that work as researchers, and just basic points or more basic points that you bring up like that. It's like the natural immunity thing. It's like, wouldn't your immune system be stronger if you were out and about and exposed to everything? He's like, you're absolutely correct. He's like, I don't understand, where some of these approved ideas come from or whatever. It's a rabbit hole, I guess, in itself.
It's a rabbit hole. But I was also saying that we actually benefited as Hexicans because this thing locked down in March of last year, and we almost instantly went to online as a way to communicate with each other. And we built a community that was revealing our faces and being our identities and things like that. Actually, I think in some ways, we rose in a way that other coins I don't think can compete with because we had that origin story within a lockdown. I don't know.
Yeah, it's its own thing. We were just mentioning earlier. Is there a Richard stream tonight, or what was the deal with that? Was there something scheduled? Motley and I have obviously been out for a while.
Yeah, there was something scheduled, but he had some problems with the microphone or with the camera because he's not in his castle on his throne, and so I don't know if he rescheduled for tonight or not. But look at the price. The the price doesn't care if Richard is live. Not anymore. It's like in the first year, it was always we got always a little price pump when Richard was live. Now the price doesn't care anymore if Richard was live or not.
I was joking with Motley that he's off, and one of his stops is seeing Lex Friedman, and that's going to be the pump. We're seeing Lex pump now, but it was just a tongue-in-cheek joke kind of thing. But
it does look like he's traveling.
You know why Richard is in Estonia?
Europe
Because he's implementing HEX as a currency there. No.
Yeah, reserve currency of Estonia.
Yeah. I mean, if the goal is world reserve currency, then you need to start in one country, right?
Yeah, all for it.
I've been seeing more bling on Instagram that has HEX logos. Have you guys been seeing that? Like
I'm getting some stuff made.
On it.
I'm getting some stuff made.
Are you really? I saw some really cool ones recently, along with like the rainbow Rolex. I don't know if that was that guy's, but some other stuff that was out there. Pretty cool.
I'm getting some Pulse and HEX rings and a chain.
Nice. You gonna step up your rap game? Is that what you're doing after your Navy time?
No.
Oh yeah.
Anytime soon.
I mean, I'm not gonna spit any bars anytime soon, but I can.
I'm curious what Richard's medallion, his Flavor Flav, fucking,
Oh, his thing's gonna be massive.
Whatever that's gonna be.
That thing's gonna be like a foot across in all directions. I can only imagine how over the top it's gonna be.
Dinner plate.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, this has been lots of fun.
I was gonna say,
yeah, we had a huge fight, Big K and I.
Yeah, it was not.
I can't wait to watch it.
I'm sure there's all the bloodshed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had somebody thrown into the bay, so that was cool. And then we'll vote for.
I'm throwing out the first.
So Wales, you were not near the boat today because Motley tried to catch you today.
Yeah, no,
we did
I was far offshore.
we did see some whales. We saw some pilot whales swimming in and around the boat, so that was pretty cool.
Oh,
but
sick.
I don't think it was whales only.
Nah,
Different kind of whales.
I don't swim. No,
yeah, if I saw you on that part.
I guess he would eat the boat, He's like a Moby Dick kind of whale, I guess.
Yeah, I just jump right in if I saw Molly in the ocean.
Hey, 7, Richard is always invited. He knows that, and he'll watch a lot of HEX streamer shows. So if he's watching and he wants on, he will let us know. That's how he got on with the hedge fund manager stream a few weeks back. So if he's available, we don't have to invite him. He wouldn't even see the invite anyway. He's got so many messages. But yeah, if it's important and he has a point he wants to make, he will definitely make it known.
Yeah, he usually will reach out to one of us and then we'll give him the link, whatever.
Yeah. And we're still at 23 cents, so that's cool.
Should I tell you what it costs right now? Because now we have a nice spike in fees. $235. Yay!
That's what it's supposed to acquire.
Let's go PulseChain.
Yeah, hopefully.
By the time PulseChain drops, I'm gonna have a nice tidy bag of fiat ready to get swapped out for that bad boy.
Cool.
It's gonna be
That's
great.
awesome.
It's gonna be great. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah. So what we have also is like, are people like at the last minute, if he does say that this is the fork, do you think that people are going to rush to some kind of cash position that go across the Ethereum bridge? You think that's going to be a month afterwards? Like when do people?
I mean, I feel like the safest thing for people to do to guarantee that they're going to be on the new chain with something of value on the new chain.
Copy of your HEX.
Yeah. I mean, like if you're going to sell some HEX and if you want more Pulse, just buy some HEX now, and then you can swap it out for Pulse. I feel like that's an easy. If you unless you're in Wales' position where you're getting you're like making fiat right now, and you're gonna have it at some other point in time, that's different, But if you're thinking like right now, what's my best play, and that's why I think HEX should pump up into this is because
buy HEX and then you'll get your Pulse bag. You'll have bags already over on the chain to play with, so
yep,
it'll be there.
So I pull out from, and again, this is not financial advice either, but that's what I typically have done for 7 or 8 years is I pull cash out when I need cash from a credit source. And then I just take my own risk profile as far as it being unsecured and so forth. So I was just trying to figure out the same thing. Like if you earn it right before and you do go to a cash position, in order to get into a crypto to convert into, it should be Ethereum, cash into Ethereum into HEX route, even now. And then like Kurkowski said, if you're anxious to get Pulse when it first launches, then you're going to have the HEX on the PulseChain fork that you can switch out in the AMM on that side. Is that the plan? Is that the thought?
That's what I would say the easiest, because otherwise you're gonna have to wait. I mean, if you're bringing capital in from ETH or from somewhere else, you're gonna have to wait for an exchange or a bridge or something else to bring it in there. You know, so if you want to be able to buy on moment one, I mean, people could believe that there's going to be a dip after like right out the gate. You know, might be a lot of sellers looking to buy other PRC20 tokens or what the fuck ever. Because like, I mean, there's probably people that are trying to play it the other way too, that might want to be buying the HEX on the PulseChain. So like, I mean, that's either or is possible. But I still think that like the safest bet is just buying HEX when you can.
Yep.
Then I found that Trust Token or the TrueUSD is actually faster on releasing. Like if you wire in, because they require you to wire in from a bank as well. Just like if you're going to wire money into Coinbase or Gemini or anything else. I found that the turnaround time of release of TUSD is like a day. Like it's shorter than I've noticed in, especially in surge times for Coinbase. What have you guys had as far as like once the wire leaves from your bank, if you do a wire from a bank system, how long does it before you actually have something tradable on Coinbase? What's your time?
Mine's a couple hours.
What? I haven't done Coinbase. I've been Kraken and probably the same.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, like it depends on what
if you get it in early,
as well as you know, because like I've used the bank that I'm like send my wire transfer, and then like at 5 p.m. that day, I'm like, hey, did you send that wire transfer? I'm like, yeah, we just sent it. Like,
actually, guys, isn't Bitstamp an option for Americans?
I believe so. I'm not sure if it is.
Because you know, I'm really so. I dislike centralized exchanges from the get-go, yeah. But with Bitstamp, I don't have any issues, and this is the only exchange where I can go in the app, click on support, and have a number to call.
That's pretty cool. I mean,
and I don't know like why isn't it the American thing? It's because it's US dollar.
You can't get Amazon either, and it has those half of retail.
It's annoying. So it's not a bad thought. I don't know if you can get on. I want to say you can't get on Bitstamp from the US.
And you know that there you don't have any limits, so there is no.
I think it's mainly like Kraken, Coinbase, Binance.us, and don't do Binance.us.
Gemini.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Gemini, Coinbase, Kraken. Those are my three. I like Crypto.com too. They're not the worst either.
Yeah, they're just making so much advertisement. That's why I'm not really recommending it. But to buy and sell there, it's not bad.
What I like about also kind of the same thing that Richard kind of wants to shield people from seeing all the shiny objects is if I tell people TrueUSD, they wire into TrueUSD, then they just have TrueUSD. And then they go, you know, I can coach them through an AMM, whether it's a Matcha or whatever, to get into HEX. Whereas if they go into Coinbase, immediately they see Coinbase Pro and, you know, 100 other charts, and they might sit there and they may not actually extract all of the value out. I don't know. But I do like to funnel like my referrals at least. People are going to ask me, you know, in a month, hey, what's going on? I'm like, you should have gone through the route that I told you, because I don't know about all that Coinbase stuff. I'm not dealing with it.
I mean, Coinbase has always been pretty solid for me. I've never really had an issue myself with them, but I mean, I know that I do know of people that have. So I mean,
I mean, I only like the fee structure from Coinbase itself is sometimes a bit.
Well, there's a huge difference. Let me be more specific.
If you're on Pro, then you're good.
Coinbase Pro.
Yeah,
Coinbase.
then I agree on you. Yeah. Then,
Coinbase Pro. Once you make a Coinbase account, you also have a Coinbase Pro account with
Yeah.
the same login credentials.
But you
So,
still need to know that as a customer.
That's so stupid. It's stupid. They really are just taking advantage of people. And then you literally you're like, hey, just log into this other place and you pay, I don't know, like 1.5%, 2% less fees. Like what?
Yeah.
It just doesn't have fun, bubbly like UI. Like that's the only that's the only difference. And they actually have charts.
If you just wire to USD and then transfer to USDC, there's no fees to begin with. So that's usually what I do.
Anybody else know of some juicy airdrops that are coming up that can be converted into HEX?
Where is my next free money?
DXDY did have
DYDX did it. Unless you're in America, then you're screwed.
Yeah.
Hopefully you use a VPN when you did your transactions, but not
Puerto
many
Rico
people did.
also doesn't count either. It's also considered America, and you can't get the airdrop. So yeah, so not DYDX, but I have heard some rumblings that the MetaMask thing is more of a possibility now than it has been in the past. So no, again, I don't know if that's guaranteed or not.
Hopefully they don't screw us with transacting from America again.
Oh yeah, that's also possible.
Highly probable, actually, if it's done in the near term.
Yeah, I mean, there might be some people that they're making that harder for us. That sucks.
Yep. And that's not what crypto is made for. Bang, bang.
So there's a Nomad Capitalist can help you like get a second visa, like a resident visa. There's all kinds of people that can help you get a second visa if you legally want to have a bank account in a different country. And then
here's that way. You gotta be careful because like with the DYDX thing, if you've ever done a transaction from the US, then they flag your account. And so like you have to make sure to use a VPN every time you possibly were in the US. When you logged into their site. Which
just going from a VPN after the fact doesn't do anything. Trust me, I tried. Like 20 plus wallets that don't work.
Advice also, when putting things in your name and you have a U.S. Social Security number tied to it, right? Meaning you're a U.S. taxpayer, you cannot have offshore accounts and think you're just going to get away with it. That's what FATCA was for. So you no longer have that option as a U.S. person, period. So
but you're gonna have an international company. You can have a
you have to have a company,
sure, but you are still the ultimate beneficial owner, and you must disclose that.
True.
That's what FATCA is for. This is what I'm trying to explain to people. Like, you can drum up all the nice structures you want. Yeah, I still got to pay. That's what that SSN is for. That's all.
No, sir. I
Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican. Yeah, poor guys. Poor guys.
Is a loophole.
No entiendo.
I'm also like pretty comfortable as an Austrian because my government don't want to tax me anything if I quit it after quitting everything in Austria and don't have any income there anymore. And I can keep my citizenship. I don't need to give up my passport because it's like the golden ticket to this chocolate factory, the Austrian passport.
Literally, right?
Yeah, it's like free access to basically the whole world,
Yeah. If you are well, here's something that most people might not know. There's a lot of countries that are going to follow the US's lead, so you might want to be on the lookout for that. I know Colombia is one, Mexico is one, I think even Venezuela, funnily enough. But these are the kind of things that you need to be on the lookout for if you're going to be playing this game. You got to understand how money moves. This is what counts. So that's all I really have to say about that.
Yeah, and I don't know like what to say to you guys. I feel pretty comfortable paying zero taxes.
Yeah,
I mean, when you're not. So here's the thing. Here's a trick, right? The trick is not having an actual residence. Once you locate somewhere for more than 183 days or more than 100,
but that's not the case for an American, right? I saw that you guys.
No, not for an American. Not for an American.
Okay.
This is just general. Yeah, this is just general tax rules. Okay, this is general tax rules. This is what applies worldwide, unless The specific jurisdiction, no, yeah, unless the specific jurisdiction that applies to you doesn't work like this. But general tax, rules, best practices, anything greater than 183 days or more, that's your residence, and that's where you must pay taxes. So if you never hit those number of days anywhere, then nobody can tell you anything.
Exactly. That's what I'm doing right now.
That's all. Yeah, that's it. If you're not a U.S. citizen, that's all you got to know. You don't have to know anything else. You're welcome.
I'm just hoping that like border control will always be kind to me, and because that's the next thing here in America. It's not like that you can get a 90-day visa, which you can extend for 180 days. Some like Colombia, you might know that, Gary, and you are really dependent on border control in America. There is not such a you can only stay so many days in America as a tourist per year. You're depending on border control. If border control says, 90 days, then you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, it gets hairy, right? Because once you start talking about traveling across borders, you're subject to border rules, period. And that's whether you're talking about your physical person or your financial person, right? Because we've allowed it to come this far. And we smile about it as we talk about it.
So Lumaka?
I mean, this is a deep
It's not
topic.
for everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, the basics is that it's not even for Puerto Rican residents. It's that have been living there all their life. It's only a tax decree that is only if you're a mainland U.S. resident that moves to Puerto Rico and applies for the tax decree and, does the other stipulations of the tax decree, which is like donate to charity yearly and own a house here within 3 years of being here. So like it's not that hard, but to not pay taxes, but there are stipulations. So like it's not like everybody gets that benefit. You have to.
Do you get a zero or do you get just tax benefits?
Your corp. There's two different decree pieces. There's the one. It's like chapter 2 and chapter 3 now, Act 60. But like there were 20 and 23 or 20 and 22. The one is for businesses, and the one makes if you start a business here, it pays a max of 4% corporate tax, and that can be brought down to 3%. And any distributions from the business that the business doesn't pay any capital gains, and it doesn't, and any distributions it makes out to other Puerto Rican residents, it pays no taxes either. And then the personal side of it, the other chapter is personal, and any personal investments you make, you don't pay any capital gains, and any income that you make that's not Puerto Rican sourced. So like if I wash somebody's car or mow the lawn or something in Puerto Rico, then then I have to pay the normal Puerto Rican tax. But if I'm sourcing it from somewhere outside of Puerto Rico, like I have an online business or cryptocurrency or some shit like that, then there's no tax on any of that income at all. So there's no income tax for that, and then no capital gains and no any of that kind of tax on any of your investments. So I mean, for crypto, it's essentially a 0% tax unless you have crypto through a business, and then you're going to be taxed 4%.
I mean, for all the Europeans out there, because I see like a lot of Portugal in the chat, I would not go ahead and make a new residency in the European Union. So because for German people and for other jurisdictions, it's important that you get a new residency. Otherwise, your home country can just say you're a long-term traveler and you still need to pay your taxes in your home country. So in some countries, you need to have a new residency. And I wouldn't recommend to get a European one as a European, because you never know like how things with the European Union will evolve, if Portugal will get forced to change their legislation pretty soon or something like that. So I would recommend to go outside the European Union for getting a new residency. Some Asian countries work for that. Some African countries would work for that, but and some South American countries would work as well.
Yep. Caribbean Islands. There's some fun Caribbean islands out there too that would work too. I'm sure.
Yes.
Antigua and
Antigua, St. Kitts. There's a bunch. There's a lot to look up. So it's like, you know, if you're thinking for just like one magical answer within 30 seconds on some stream,
there really is not. There's not.
It.
We do a lot of.
There is a lot for this topic. That's why there are like YouTube streamers who have like a lot of followers only on this topic.
Yeah, just go out there, Hexkins. If you're, I mean, just do YouTube searches on, you know, St. Kitts, capital gains tax law, stuff like that. You'll have a choice of a lot of stuff, not just for there, but any other Caribbean island or Portugal or whatever. You know, look at the view count, see what's popular, what people gain the most benefit from. That's probably going to be a decent source to at least start. And then, you know, that can at least start your, you know, thinking / conversation there.
And it's always good to have somebody in this country who knows the shit, who knows where to go, who knows where the where the companies are, where you need to set up the new stuff and so on. So don't go like with somebody who just like got it from a recommendation, who is not living there specifically always, and only go like with people who are really doing that specifically with this kind of country and are really living in this kind of in this specific country, because there are lots of some perpetual travelers who are like traveling around the world and just talking generally about tax optimizations or about the possibilities, and lots of the time there is like a little devil in the details, and if you don't do it right, then you could possibly get screwed, screwed like both ways, from your home country and from the new country as well, if you like did it wrong in the new country.
Yes, that's correct. I would be very, very careful with all that kind of stuff. And not just speak to somebody who lives there, but I'll speak to somebody who's a qualified professional who lives there too. You know, that's my like, I mean, what I'm doing here is giving you basic armchair math, and at best, you know, on everything that I'm giving you on here, you know, like we're having fun, you know, and being somewhat informative, but like, it's really just meant to scratch your interest. And like, if what we're saying is like, oh, this is what I want to be doing, then like, by all means, look up somebody who knows more than me.
Yeah, and it's always like an individual case, because you know, somebody is from this country, somebody is from a different country. Then the next guy has like a wife with a different passport, and the next guy has a company. The next guy is only like a private person. The next guy has maybe some legal issues on his record, and that might be another problem for that kind of stuff and so on. So it's really, you need to put time and effort into that if you want to free yourself from your high tax governments.
It's true.
Yeah, wake dog.
I like this, except for harems of women don't typically like to live off the grid. I don't know.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough to pull off.
It's gonna be tough to pull off.
Nardo, what's up, bro?
Quick shout outs. Thanks Hex19 for the super chat. And Alan, I have not had time to look this up. Ethereum blockchain splits as software bot affects more than half the network. Article just posted. So after we get off stream, we will look for that. And Nardo, what up?
Hey, what's happening, gentlemen?
Congrats on the sick fish today, man.
The tuna.
Awesome.
Yeah, I had to take a nap after that one.
I bet, dude. I fought a fish for over 20 minutes before, man, and it's hard work, man. It will wind you hard.
The 15 minutes. It was 15 minutes for this fight, and literally that last minute, like my brain and hands started shutting down. I just had to listen to what everybody was yelling out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my hands locked up. I couldn't make a fist afterwards. You know, Motley's got some good footage of me like falling apart.
Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
It must have been a big fish then, huh?
I want to say it's maybe up there in the high 40s or 50 pounds. Biggest one for me.
Yeah, that's up there, boy.
That was hand crank, man. That was like, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool experience.
One guy
gonna taste good
switch
too.
off. So, yeah, gents, thanks for hopping on. Where are you guys at?
I don't know. They keep running us all over these places, but I think we're gonna go. I'm just a pass.
Dude, I need to eat dinner. I'm like, I need to eat dinner and get some calories burned because I've just been awful today. So.
Yeah, we had a ham sandwich, brother. That's about it.
Oh, all right.
All right, boys. Enjoy your night. We're gonna ride out.
All right, man. See you.
Thanks for coming by, Nardo.
Bye-bye. So yes, guys, actually we are reaching the 3 hours mark, and I was like, yeah, I have time for about 3 hours. And
yeah, let's wrap it here because the ladies are on Discourse Syndicate Network. Looks like Chloe, Serena. I saw Ross in chat here. I don't know why he would be in chat if Serena is on stream. So, dude, what are you doing? So that's your girl, right? And then of course Sammy's over there too. So yeah, it's a good time to wrap because the ladies are just coming on. So we'll just go around the room like we usually do right at the very end. Matty Allen, what's up? Thanks for coming by, man.
Matty.
Big K, where can we find you?
You can find me here, Big Kurkowski, at Big Kurkowski on Twitter, at Telegram, at Big Kurkowski as well. Hopefully when PulseChain launches, you can see me playing some bingo. You can see me throwing out the first pitch at a Cubs game next year. Everyone should come on out for that bit of fun as well.
Nice.
All that, and more.
Is
Stay tuned.
Are there any open spots, or is the football league filled?
The football league is filled. League is filled. We have a full. I mean, if I had like enough interest in like another fantasy football league, I may have a whole nother set of 14 years of HEX staked out in a separate wallet for another league if people were interested. But this league is full up, and it was perfect because I actually have nobody else interested that didn't get in yet so far. So
all right, that's cool. I was thinking of trying to do a DraftKings league for Hexkins, and I think we get a ton of people in, but I can't set it up because my geographic location, I've tried VPN and everything to get around it. So, somebody out there wants to just...
I wonder if I can from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I mean, just set up like a league, just standard scoring. We compete every week for like $10. That's what I was just trying to do. And pay like top 3 a week or something. If we get like 100 people, that'd be fun every week, man. So,
yeah, that would be
Internet censorship at its finest. Can't
there
even
you
play
go.
some fantasy football. Disgusting. That's just disgusting, man. Let's be serious. It's not even comical. It's just disgusting at this point. Come on.
Yep. Exactly.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's silly.
Jesus. It's beyond silly.
Yeah, let me know, Big K. That way we can at least
I'll take a look and see what I can do.
Promote it. It takes like you'll know within like a minute. Like just go to like create
I'll
contest.
see if I can sign up and create a contest.
It takes like a minute, and you'll know instantly. Motley Investor, where can we find you other than the next room over?
Motley Investor on all platforms: YouTube, Telegram, Twitter. Go check out my last video I did with Cindy. She did a little interview with her. She stripped down to her bikini, so you can go enjoy that. But it was a good interview. It was fun, so go check it out. Nights of Crypto, I believe should still be Wednesday at 10 p.m. Who knows? We're all over the place still. And then I'll have a couple of streams coming. If you're a video editor, reach out to me. I already have a couple guys' work that I have to go through, but looking for a good video editor to put some vlogs together of all this kind of stuff. So if you got video editing skills, hit me up.
Outstanding. Now we come to Patrick. Just a quick shout out before we get to Patrick. Any super chats that I missed because like we were on a boat and like coming back and in transit, I apologize for not putting them up. So that's why only the admin can put them up, I guess. So if that was the case, I don't know. But I just want to throw that out there. Thank you to everyone. I put up every one that I ever see because you guys are freaking awesome. Patrick, there's a few things you got going on, man. So tell us about them.
Yes, so thanks Cabana. So first of all, thank you for having me on the show again, and thanks for all the guys out there. You have a pretty awesome chat here going as well. Lots of people here. Also shout out to Crypto Goose. I'm doing awesome, with nearly 23 cents. And back in America, I really enjoying my time. Also greetings from Abit. He is like busy getting more things done for our road trip. So next week we are starting the road trip here in Las Vegas with the first workshop. To get information about that, go to t.me/US road trip, and there will be a live stream this Sunday in the afternoon Vegas time. And next week on the Crypto Sparbuch show, I will have a live interview with Steph from the Stake Cap on Tuesday.
Nice.
Cool.
Because
cool. That's some breaking news. I did not.
Stake Cap will be the guys we are using for the onboarding, for the workshops, for the whole trip, and that's why. Yeah, I need Steph on the show, to explain everything, what Stake Cap is about, like how they evolved in the last months, and where they want to head, how they want to create the killer app of crypto.
No, it's awesome. I mean, I think everybody here's got a wallet, and I know I do, and so many Hexicans do, and Pulse onboarding is going to be so much easier, I think, with that. So, that's breaking news. So I'm looking to hear from Steph again. I always love him talking anytime.
Yeah, man, this is such a busy man. This is such a busy man. It's like it always takes us a few days that we can manage it.
Yeah, him, Firebun, Kyle, their time is at a premium, but the information they provide is so cool. So I always appreciate when they can take the time to come on. Wales, man, is there anywhere we can find you, like a website or something, or I don't know, like, are you even online?
Where can we fish
like,
you?
You stream ever?
Well, you can find me by the Bronx River, but I'm not sure I'm going to fit there.
And I joke because I see whales everywhere, so that's what I was joking. But yeah, what's up, man?
Well, you can find me on Twitter, just like on the handle you see on the screen here. I also have a website, so if you ever need a consult or anything on how money moves throughout the system because you just don't know, reach out. We can talk and see what you need and work something out. wellsonly.com.
Awesome. Well, ladies are going on over on the DS Network, so be sure to check those out. I don't know about any bikinis. Motley did not arrange this stream, so you're on your own there. But maybe some super chats. Maybe you can convince one or two. I don't know. Not an endorsement, not a suggestion. Anyway, y'all have a great night. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. It was just another blast. And we'll see you next week, same time.
Yeah, it was an awesome talk.
Fantastic.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, y'all.
Cheers.
Peace, guys.
Cheers.